Oh, it looks good right now, but I am having a little trouble loading the packet. So
Okay,
if I turn my video off, it's just because of that.
no problem. Member Roberts, I can also try to send it to you in an email if the PDF will send, if that's helpful.
Yeah, I've been trying to download it for like 10 minutes, but I can see it online. It's just like a little slow. So,
Okay, no
yeah.
problem. All right, and the recording has started. So, Chair, I'll have you start the meeting.
Perfect. Sorry. I gotta scroll back to the top. All right. This is a public notice, City of Boulder, Beverage Licensing Authority hearing for Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 at 3 p.m. And this will be a virtual meeting.
Thank you so much. I will begin this meeting with member roll call. If you will just go ahead and speak your presence aloud. Member Ginger Barnes,
Present.
member Lansing Crane,
Right here.
Chair Leah Roberts.
Chair Roberts, present.
Thank you so much. Member Carr and member Haggerty will not be joining us today. I'll go ahead and oh, sorry, I skipped over the rules for virtual hearing. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and share those, and then we'll move on. Okay. The city has engaged with community members to co-create a vision for productive, meaningful, and inclusive civic conversations. This vision supports physical and emotional safety for community members, staff, and board members, as well as democracy for people of all ages, identities, lived experiences, and political perspectives. For more information about this vision and the community engagement process, please visit our website, bouldercolorado.gov. The city will enforce the rules of decorum found in the Boulder Revised Code. Participants are required to sign up to speak using the name they are commonly known by, and individuals must display their whole name before being allowed to speak online. Currently, only audio testimony is permitted online. No attendee shall disrupt, disturb, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of any meeting in a manner that obstructs the business of the meeting. This also includes failing to obey any lawful order of the presiding officer, to leave the meeting, or refrain from addressing the board. Only one person at a time is allowed to speak unless an accommodation like an interpreter is required. All remarks and testimony shall be limited to matters related to city business. No participant shall make threats or use other forms of intimidation against any person. Obscenity, other epithets based on race, gender, or religion, and other speech and behaviors that disrupt or otherwise impedes the meeting will not be tolerated. Okay. I'll go ahead and move on to approval of beverage licensing authority minutes from January 21st, 2026. I'm not sure that you have a quorum for
I
this
don't think
one.
we do.
Correct me. Okay.
I was there, but we're, there were only three, and we didn't. I don't think they had corn. We may have the problem, the same thing with the next
I think we do.
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay, and then so I'll move approval of BLA minutes from January 21st, 2026, and also approval of beverage licensing authority minutes from February 18th, 2026 to the next hearing so that we have a quorum for those. Next I have hearing agenda issues from licensing clerk. We don't have any agenda issues at this time. There is a matter that we will discuss with you at the end of the hearing, but it's not on the agenda. And next, I will go ahead and move on to matters from Boulder Police Department. However, oh, there it is. Officer Rec is here. Hi, Officer Rec.
Hi, I do not have anything unless someone has something for me.
Not seeing
Doesn't
any.
look.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to general public comments for future beverage licensing authority hearings. If you're here to make public comment on something that is not on the agenda, please go ahead and raise your hand. That's just the use raise hand function in Zoom. I'll do one more call for public comment. If you're here to give comment on something that is not presently on the agenda, go ahead and raise your hand. I'm seeing no hand raised, so I will go ahead and move on. I will move on to agenda item 4, which is the Riverside Group Ltd, DBA Riverside, 1724 Broadway Street, Boulder, Colorado 80302, monthly status report to the BLA. Mr. Mosier is here and I'm promoting him so that he can unmute and talk. And while Mr. Mosier is getting settled, I will let the BLA know that Riverside is in good standing with sales tax and occupation tax, and Mr. Mosier submitted proof of that today, and we've also checked in with sales tax.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Mosier. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you guys?
Good.
Enjoying the heat?
I came to Florida and it's cold.
Yeah.
Um, great. Any issues? Anything you want to discuss with us? Sounds like you're in good standing.
No, nothing specific. I see the renewal is coming up. It
Yeah,
felt like I just got renewed. So it's kind of
you
okay.
did.
Gotta jump right on it. But this time
Perfect.
Miranda will be helping me, so that's good.
Perfect. And if you have any issues, please reach out to any of the wonderful city clerks or ask us on these calls. We're always happy to help.
Yeah.
All right, keep it up. We'll look for that renewal on time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank,
Any
Bye-bye.
questions from the board?
Cool.
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just give me a second here. Okay. Next, we will move on to agenda item 5, which is continued public hearing and consideration of an application filed on October 21st, 2026 from Boulder Pho LLC, DBA Boulder Pho, 2855 28th Street, Boulder, Colorado, 80301. Dwayne Nguyen, 100% owner and registered manager with the premises business mailing address for a renewal of a hotel restaurant type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand. And I see Mr. Nguyen is raising his hand. While Mr. Nguyen is getting settled here, I will let the BLA know that this licensee is in good standing with occupation tax, but Penelope Rhodes is here from sales tax to speak on their sales tax status.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Nguyen. There you go.
Hello.
All right. Before we get started, I'll just go ahead and swear you in. Will anyone else be appearing with you today?
No, just myself.
Okay, perfect. If you'll just go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record and give an address.
My name is Duy Nguyen, D-U-Y, last name Nguyen, Nguyen. My home address is 5503 Riverbend Avenue, Firestone, Colorado 80504.
Thank you so much. And if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes.
And do you swear or affirm that the premises was posted at least 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll hand it over to the chair.
Thanks, Caitlin. I'll just go ahead and read the procedures in, and then Penelope, will you speak after that, or would you prefer to go now?
I can do either.
I'll go ahead and read it in for the record, and then we'll start. Okay. This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the application of applicant Boulder Pho LLC, DBA Boulder Pho, for a renewal of type liquor license, of hotel restaurant type liquor license shall be granted or denied. The hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado and to the laws and rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder. The purpose of this hearing is to receive information, data, and testimony by interested parties in order to enable this authority to make findings and to reach the conclusions required to be made by state law as to whether or not the license shall be renewed. Interested parties are the applicant, residents of the neighborhood affected by the license as previously determined by the authority, and the owners and managers of the business located within the neighborhood. This hearing shall be limited to the question of whether there is good cause not to renew the license as set forth in the notice of the hearing dated March 18th, 2026. A record is being made of all these proceedings, and those who desire to be heard shall identify themselves by stating their name, spelling their last name, and stating their permanent address. This shall also be sworn in by the board secretary. To the members of the board, are there any conflicts of interest or has there been any ex parte communication with this establishment? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
Member Crane, no.
Great. Then, Mr. Nguyen, if you are ready to proceed, we will. First, we will hear from Ms. Rhodes from the City of Boulder.
Hi. At this time, I cannot say that Boulder Pho is in good standing with sales tax. We're still missing a couple of items, but they are working on it. And today they have been contacting us, and I know that there's some communication going on with an accountant and getting back to us. So while they're not in good standing, we're not saying no because they are working with us.
Okay. Thank you. I have some follow-up questions, but Mr. Nguyen, why don't you go ahead and let us know what's going on here?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me start on my speech. So since our last hearing, so I working with my accountant, but my tax preparer, which is my accountant, he got sick, and then I believe he was hospitalized. So I reached out to him, and then after that, we start working on it, but it's already past the timeline of what I was given to work on this. Even I tried to send one check out to for the payments, but seems like the check never arrived to the address on the voucher, which is in Denver, I believe. And then I make sure I was just waiting to make sure if the check has been arrived or not. And today, this morning, I got a couple things, a couple items which is missing for the return and stuff, and I will submit that. I already send that over to my accountant, so he should be taking care of everything no later than the next couple of days. Especially right now, it's a tax season, so he's get very busy as well. So my apologize for the delay and everything, but I sent all the payments this morning should be taken care of like 90 to 95% of the balance already. So it's just a couple items missing. So yeah, that's very much.
Um, do you have Ms. Rhodes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean I had a question for you. I just meant with your
Oh,
information, I will have questions. So thank
Hmm.
you.
not a problem. I'll
Yeah.
wait just in case.
Um, I guess my big question is the many months of communication that the city has been trying to reach out to you and not showing up for the last meeting and I guess I don't understand. Can you explain why you're not responsive?
So you mean the response of the previous months or the
Mhm. Well,
okay.
you're filing late, and then I saw a ton of communication between you and the city, different people in the.
So yeah, I think we have some problems with the bank because I know when I receive a letter, I know that's gonna be something that I own that I just need to submit the payments, but my accountant tried to submit the payments, but the payment wasn't clear on time, and then it just keep bouncing. It's out. So that's that's the main reason.
But what about your emails and all the outreach that
I
the
don't.
city clerk?
I think the city has mostly communicated with my accountant, and he didn't forward it to me. The only thing I received in Nautic was mails. So I will update the new email with the city from this point to get more communicate and everything. Even last time I missed the I think they have the email on file, which is different email of what I use. So I think that's another problem as well.
But that is your responsibility, no?
Yes, I understand. That is my responsibilities.
Um, so you're saying you just weren't seeing the emails.
So I received the mails, but the email regarding the sale tax, I don't see it.
Um,
Is that what you, so I just want to show, is that your question or?
yeah, I'm wondering why we had to send out so many emails and so much communication, and everything was ignored until the end of December, and your email back was you're too busy to call. So you understand that there's a lot of people that go into helping you have a
I
license of this.
understand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it's a lot of city time, it's a lot of tax dollar payments, and it's a legal issue. So I'm just trying to understand, can you talk to us about how we're going to avoid this in the future?
So I will, because I will have to be back to the sales tax office again since I missed, I think I missed like one or two filling. I don't know why it's missing, but I will make sure with my accountant again and I will print it out and bring it over. I will also update the new email and the new phone number at that point. So and I will avoid that for sure, and I will communicate more with the people from the office so that will definitely avoiding this issue. So
Ms. Rhodes, do you feel confident that this establishment will follow through on their promise to complete everything with you?
I can't say that I am at this time, only with the past history of promises made but not kept.
Mhm.
Um, we have, like I said, they've come in today in order to help get all their stuff caught up. But I do know that voicemails were left as well as emails, and when there were talking points between us and them, promises were made but not kept. So at this point, I can't say that we
Mm-hmm.
do.
Okay. Are there other questions from the board?
I guess I have one, Mr. Nguyen. Moving forward, so as Chairman Roberts has spoken, based on the past history, we don't have a lot of I don't have, I can't speak for everyone else. I don't have a lot of confidence in moving forward. But I guess I'd like to hear what's going to be, so if we meet next month with you, is it be different? I mean, it seems like we put so much effort, the whole city has, into helping you, and I just hope that you're learning from this and you're going to make a change, because it's not fair for everywhere, all the other businesses in Boulder are doing everything right to stay open, and it's not quite going your way in that direction. So I guess I'd like to hear some reassurance if we postpone this, if we hear from you again next month, what's going to be different, and some I guess promises or some commitments that's going to change things, so we don't have to continue with this lack of communication with the city.
so again, my apologies for what's happening. Really apologize. And I don't want to excuse, but I will definitely update the new email and the new phone number with the city, because from what I until today, honestly, I don't think they called direct to my phone number regarding the sale tax. But I don't want to excuse. That's that's my responsibilities. I respond for it. My apologize. Um, Definitely within this week, I will take care of the rest of it, because it's nothing much left on what I'm missing, because it's just couple filing, and definitely I think because from what I told from the gentleman this morning from the sales tax office, after I bring couple of the filing back, I will definitely have some credit in the account for sure. That's what I told. I don't know, but definitely. So I will keep track with it. I will update the new phone number, the right, correct email and phone number on file. So everything should be on track from now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions from the board?
Take it off mute. Um, I'm not sure whether it's a question. Yes, there's a question in it, but I share the concerns of my colleagues on the licensing authority. Um, the what seems to me we're hearing from you is a lot of people aren't doing what you need to have them do. And what I'd rather hear from you is a sense that an appreciation that you're not doing what you need to do, and that you're going to take responsibility for doing it going forward. Um, as as uh, as has been said, there are a lot of city resources and city licensing resources that are supporting your effort to have a business. And it's not fair to the city. It's not fair to the other taxpayers. It's not fair to the other potential licensees to spend a lot of time on things that are somebody else not doing it right for you. So when you come back, I hope you will be taking responsibility for everything, not pointing fingers at other people.
Yes, I apologize. Thank you so much. And I appreciate what everything was done for me. I know everyone trying to help me, so I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Nguyen, any other um, closing statements before we deliberate as a board to figure out what to do here?
No, I don't think so. That's very much. So
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. So then at this time, oh yes, Penelope.
That's okay. We just have one request, similar to other businesses, to maybe have the check-in going forward for a little bit, just to make sure that we're getting that,
Yes,
um, back that habit back into staying in good standing.
yes, I
Absolutely.
will. Definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, then at this time we will close for deliberation and I I think that we could do something similar like what we've been doing with Riverside. And then next month when they come before us, if they're not up to date, we can discuss this more. And because he does seem like he's trying to get it together, I don't have a lot of hope, but maybe if we put something more strict in place, we won't have this repeat offense. Um, so I would make a motion to, I guess, not suspend this license this month and um, have Boulder Pho show up for the next 6 months um, for a check-in, and we'll look at the taxes. Um, and if I can also add into this motion that if he is not up to date last month, we will be considering a suspension. Is there a
I
second?
second, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Yes, Mr. Ramirez.
Hi, everyone. Um,
Was it too much?
no, what was the beginning of your motion? Was it
Well, I guess the
because this
fun.
is a renewal?
Okay. Then yes, make a motion to renew it. Sorry, I thought it was whether or not it should be suspended, but I might have read that incorrect.
Caitlin, do we have that? Let me see the voting
We
record.
conditionally renew it.
Um,
Would that help?
Yeah, I can provide some context for you guys. So it's a continued public hearing because you did deliberate on the renewal of this hotel restaurant liquor license last year. I want to say October. And the licensee did not meet the requirements of the renewal that you put at that renewal hearing. So this is just another continued renewal hearing. So we are making a deliberation on the renewal. But the and Roberto can correct me when I get out of when I get in the weeds here, but I believe that the everything that you put on your motion is fine. I think we just need the renewal part of it.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So all your conditions are absolutely fine, and if he doesn't meet them, All of that is completely fine. I think the beginning part just needs to be in regards to the renewal.
Okay, yeah, I might have said the opposite. Okay, yeah. So then I would make a motion to renew this license with this stipulation that he will need to come before us for the next 6 months. And if he is not in good standing and not communicating, then at that point we will be considering a suspension.
Thank you so much.
I
Is there a
second,
second?
yeah, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Burns, aye.
Can you say it again, Member Crane? We didn't hear you.
Member Crane, aye. Shows me there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
We got you. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
so we are, hoping for the best. We'll see you next month and we'll expect everything to be good to go
Thank you. So I just want to make sure that I will have to go to hearing again next month or next 6 months.
next 6 months.
Next 6 months. Okay.
We'll do
And
a check-in,
yes.
and as long as you're good to go, it's very fast. If the city says you're behind on something, then we'll have to deliberate.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again.
Thank you. Okay, let me get everyone situated. All right, now we will move on to agenda item 6, which is public hearing and consideration of an application filed on December 24th, 2025 from Market and Wine LLC, DBA Sundry Goods, 3303 Bluff Street, Suite RS-2, Boulder, Colorado 80301. Sony Stresta, 100% owner with a premises business mailing address for either a transfer of a retail liquor store type liquor license or change of ownership of a retail liquor store type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand and I will get everyone settled. I will go ahead and get everyone in here and settled. And then I will hand it over to Kristen Teague for some context for this one for the board. And after that, I'll hand it back over to the board. So that's it's a little weird. We're gonna do it in a weird way.
Okay.
Okay, and then Mr. Sellinger, I see that you're present. You're the attorney for the licensee. Is that true?
That's correct. License number 40150, representing the applicant.
Thank you. And I see that they have their hand raised. I am promoting them to panelists, so they'll just need to approve that if they can.
And I'm happy to go through any, like, I've gone through the commentary in the packet from the BLA. I'm happy to address some things in there that I think are actually specifically legal issues before we get to some of the issues related to the operations of the business, or let you guys run the questions you have however you'd like. I just wanted to offer that up.
Thank you. We'll see how the board feels after we get everyone settled here. Mr. Shrestha, I see that you are here, or there's someone named Rohan Shrestha. If you can turn your camera on.
That's her husband who just wanted to
That's fine.
listen.
Okay.
She's supposed to be joining. There we go.
Okay, cool. I see Sony changed her name. If you can, let's see. Okay,
There you go.
perfect. And Mr. Selinger, will anyone besides Sony Shrestha be appearing with you today?
No.
Okay, great. Ms. Shrestha, I'll go ahead and have you say your name and spell your name for the record and provide an address.
My name is Sony Shrestha. Do you want me to spell my full name?
Yes, please.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
It's Sony is my first name. Shrestha is the last name. SHRSTHA. And you want my home address, right?
Sure.
Okay. It's 4673 18th Street, Boulder, Colorado, 80301.
Thank you so much. And if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
I do.
And do you swear or affirm that the premises has been posted for at least 10 days prior to today's hearing? Okay, thank you so much. I will go ahead and hand it over to Miss Teague, and she will give some context, and then I'll hand it back over to the board.
Thank you, Caitlin. Good afternoon, members of the board. I would like to draw your attention to the Beverage Licensing Authority packet, specifically to start with page 70 of the packet, which is the memorandum from the licensing division regarding this license matter. And so the licensing division has come across several concerns for this particular licensee regarding to whether or not it was a proper transfer or a change of corporate structure for this license. That we do give a little bit of background from when it was initially granted in 2023 to a separate licensee as 100% owner. And moving on. Basically, this summarizes our concerns because it appears strongly that as it's related to the parties involved in the revocation hearing through DDS Liquor Mart, they are involved in operational and financial control in relation to this liquor license. And so one of the operational control concerns is over the sale and inventory of alcohol plus financial controls. Of greater concern on the individual history report form, which is required by the state and the city for liquor applications. Ms. Shrestha did not accurately disclose her family members working in or holding a financial interest in the Colorado alcohol beverage industry. And of course, that also pertains to the definition of family under the Boulder Revised Code. We've identified incomplete and inconsistent financial documentation related to the funding sources used to purchase the business, as well as discrepancies between the purchase price and the investment amounts. Staff, including myself, licensing manager Darrow, and Officer Leah Reck, had been out to this location multiple times over the past several weeks and have identified multiple compliance issues, including but not limited to, as I've noted on page 71, modification of the licensed premises without an approval, use of an unapproved trade name, sale of prepared foods without a retail food establishment license, failure to post a minor warning sign, and failure to maintain required books and records on site. The on-duty clerks that we've witnessed are the same members that were ownership partners for the DDS Liquor Mart, which was revoked. This application did get submitted during the time that the revocation had occurred for DDS Liquor Mart, but the alcohol destruction for DDS Liquor Mart. So we do have some concerns with Dinesh Shrestha and Rajesh Thresha, as well as Mr. Rohan Shrestha, the applicant in this license's husband. Beginning on page 98 of the packet are some applicant supplied documents that we received. Of those, we did note several items of concern, such as information on confusing information on the capital from a Roro. It does say Fram on page 98, but they claim that the business is Roro Farm, which is, I'm not quite sure what kind of firm that actually is. The description on their website is kind of lengthy. They did provide some background information on this. Mr. Shrestha, Ms. Shrestha's husband, is the general managing partner for this Roro Farms company. There's been copies of some checks that were provided to us for the purchase of this sundry license that were signed by Mr. Shrestha, the spouse, in addition to some commingled, what's clearly commingled assets per the documentation provided, in addition to some payments to the individual the individuals that they purchased the license from originally, And then there's the on page 107, specifically, there's an assignment, acceptance, and consent for the sale of the membership interests from the previous licensee to Ms. Shrestha. However, it does list her as and Mr. Shrestha, her spouse, but that was not disclosed on the liquor application. So that is just a small part of the investigation and findings that we have. And I'm happy to answer questions on that or go into more depth. I'm just cognizant of everybody's time.
Great, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Okay, and let me go ahead and read this into the record, and then Attorney Sellinger, if you're okay with me with waiving the procedures, I won't read all of that in.
Yeah, of course, that's no problem.
Okay, great. So this is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the applicant Market and Wine LLC, DBA Sundry Goods, shall be granted or denied. This hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Sundry, I'm sorry, guys. Sundry Goods for a transfer or change of ownership of a retail liquor store type liquor license or a change of ownership of a retail liquor store type liquor license shall be granted or denied. This hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado and the rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority for the City of Boulder. To the members of the board, has there been any ex parte communication or conflicts of interest with this establishment? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
McCrane, no.
Okay, great. Then if you're ready to proceed, Mr. Sellinger, I pass to you.
Sure. I think that first and foremost, because there's a lot in the memo, I think that it's easy to sort of knock a few things out with a little bit of explanation. First and foremost, this is a membership purchase. The stock, I'm going to use the word stock loosely. It was an LLC, but the stock of the original licensee was purchased 100%. And under the Boulder Code, that is a change of structure, which is the application that we filed. The applicant was very excited about the prospect of buying the premises and sort of got ahead of herself a little bit in terms of doing some modifications to the premises. And the previous LLC had a DBA that it wasn't using that the new owner wanted to use, but it hadn't been registered with the authority. So there was a little bit of cart before the horse, and we apologize for that. When it comes to the IHR and the issues with regards to Ms. Shrestha's family, the way that there were two issues with how we advised Ms. Shrestha to complete the forms, and if the error is on my law firm or me, we would obviously take all the blame. But I think that there is obviously a little bit of a discrepancy between the wording and the definitions on the state's IHR form and some of the definitions that the Boulder Code has. So the Boulder Code defines the word family, but the IHR uses the word relative. And when she was filling out this form at the time, the license for DDR had been revoked. So in her mind, they didn't own a licensed liquor sales establishment at all because there was no license anymore. So I understand that there's a very short time window here, but she was answering good faith to the best of her abilities, the state's IHR form. When Ms. Darrow sort of flagged some of this for us, we were able to supplement as much as we could for the rest of the documents that were requested. There are some additional things in the memo. It says that you've asked for an operating agreement, and the operating agreement still shows the old owners. Well, legally, we've purchased the stock. There's no legal requirement to change the operating agreement. The operating agreement goes by the purchase of the stock, and that agreement continues. The same goes for the lease. The lease was between the entity and the landlord. The landlord has consented to the entire transaction, but there's no requirement under any Colorado real estate law that we enter into a new lease or an assignment and assumption of a lease. The fact that they consented to the transaction is their consent under their terms of the lease. So I just wanted to put the corporate law stuff aside, and we can definitely also discuss the stuff related to her family, their involvement in the business, and control. But I wanted to make sure that the sort of paradigm for the transaction was understood properly. Additionally, we've gone through with the concerns from Ms. Teague's visit, from Officer Retch's visit, and Ms. Darrow's visit, with correcting the signage that was there. The food that was being sold was all prepackaged. It was not pre-prepared. So it's like chips and pretzels and those sorts of things. There was nothing being cooked or otherwise. And then we obviously want this business to operate in a way that is comfortable for the BLA. And so obviously Ms. Shrestha is the licensed manager. We're happy to list another manager, and we do understand that she needs to be there in supervision of these other family members because she's the only one that has any signing authority on any of the bank accounts, that has any signing authority on the credit cards, that has the authority to order alcohol from distributors. So if her physical presence or the physical presence of another listed manager is what you guys want, we are more than happy to do that. The other family members right now are really just pitching in, and I know it's like that's not a legal term on any level, but they're looking for employees. And so because the transaction closed on January 1st and they didn't want to lose money, they were just having their family help out until they could get the place staffed up. With all that said, I have gone through all of the normal questions that I would do and that I would have presented to you guys for a full application, and kicked the tires in the way that I normally do that before I ever would put an application in front of the BLA. I was the attorney on the original license for this store and appeared in front of you. So anyway, I just wanted to sort of knock out a bunch of the questions, as many as I could, and turn it back to the board with regards to any specific issues on the individuals, and also just tell you that to the extent that you would like additional disclosures on the IHR, we can revise it again. We're happy to do whatever. We're really trying to be as above board while reading what the question and the instructions from the State Department of Revenue say.
Okay. Just a quick question. So you're saying that only like chips and pretzels and prepackaged food. Miss Teague, do you agree with that assessment of the food that was being sold? And can you elaborate a little bit more there?
Sure. Upon my 2 visits to this location, it did appear to be more of a small grocery store. Not just, some packaged chips and pretzels and things like that you would see in a retail liquor store. There was everything from prepackaged to prepared foods in refrigerators, dog food, soap, laundry detergent, basically, I would say pretty much a mirror image of what they had over at DDS Liquor on the market side, combined with the liquor store.
Okay.
Which then kind of raises, with retail liquor stores, they have a threshold of how much they can sell. I did not request books and records, so things like that. To see what that percentage actually was, due to the nature of the timing of this, but that was rather concerning.
Okay. Attorney Salinger, do you want to respond to that?
I would like the applicant to respond. I can't speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had like a less than 20% of the whole thing. We don't do much of the grocery stuff. And we have like a packaged stuff like chips, and then I can see from here like some drinks. We do have a bake some bread that we just buy them from a local bakery and just bring it here. And what else?
Are you preparing sandwiches and things with that bread?
No,
No,
it's
no,
all
no,
there's no
no.
food
We
prepared.
don't prepare
There's
any.
no food prepared on premises whatsoever, and anything
No food.
that would be prepared food would be purchased
I
from
can,
somewhere else.
What is the
yeah, we have a bread, but we just buy it
so you're
and we
selling
just
prepared food from a different establishment? So you're buying prepared food and then selling it?
we don't sell sandwiches at all. We it's just I think the only thing I can think right now is just the bread, the bakery, they just bake them. We just go buy them and just sell it here. That's it.
So,
Um, did
what's
you
in the
have,
refrigerator? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you
Okay.
have prepared food before and then you've stopped since it was flagged?
I no, I don't think we have sell any. No, we haven't sell any food. I mean the prepared food at all.
Miss Barnes, did you have a question?
So I guess yeah, a question: what's in the refrigerators then?
Oh, there is like I think that's a prepackaged pizzas and then some burritos and yeah, that's it. It's all prepackaged. We don't make them here at all. Like a frozen stuff, like frozen pizzas and burritos that we just put them in a microwave and heat it up. That's it. Those stuff.
Um, okay.
And we only have like a small section in the fridge. Like I will say like yeah, we just have like two sections. That's it. Not much, not a lot.
Right. It doesn't matter how big or small something is, something's either legal or illegal. So what I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Okay. Yeah.
understand is the discrepancy here.
I don't
I
Okay.
will
know,
say,
Mr. Miss
what I can say is that there has not been a vast change in the inventory. I can't speak specifically, but the prior licensee was also, I mean, just like all retail license, like there's some food being sold, none of it's prepared. And I know as a licensing attorney, none of what I believed to be being sold inside rose to the level of requiring a food retail license in the city of Boulder.
And I just have a question for Miss Kristen. Did you saw a sandwich or what did you saw that you come up with a like yeah, what did you saw?
So,
Exactly what did you
there's one area that differs from what was on the approved diagram for this premises. Number one, that has lots of different, and some of it looked to be homemade, some of it looked to be pre-manufactured, but it looked like salsas, spreads, things like that. Then also the cooler refrigerator towards the back had things like bins of eggs that appeared to have been hard boiled, but they weren't like factory sealed, and items of those kinds of natures. In addition to the other items that I
I
noted, I'd have to go back and review the body worn camera footage. We did have
yeah,
Officer Rex body worn
I
camera on in there, and so those are the types of things in addition to
yeah, I
some
can show
other
you
things that
we don't have
yeah, like I said,
yeah,
I
I
haven't
can
been back in there in about a week and a half, so or 2 weeks, so I don't know I can't testify as to what's in the store as of right this moment.
Right.
yeah, I can assure you 100 that we don't package anything at all. Nothing like 0% packaging. It has been done in my store.
Well, maybe it wasn't done in your store, but it was prepared somewhere. No? I don't know.
I
Uh,
no,
okay.
not 100% sure it's not.
Okay. Um, other questions about this before we move on?
The other thing that I wanted to draw your attention to with regards to the comments in the memo and from Ms. Teague regarding the funding of the establishment, there's th three things I wanted to point out. First, the purchase price for the business is the $10,000 additional cash for operating cash flow was put into the business above and beyond the purchase price. So that's investment by the applicant just so that they had the money to continue running the business. And to Ms. Teague's point about sort of the upward motion of the upward tracking of the money from where it all came from, the partnership that she references is owned by multiple siblings in this family. There are all separate, wholly owned accounts for each sibling. No sibling has the any rights over each other's accounts. So she's right that Mr. Roja and Sretha is the general partner, but the general partner has no access and no authority over any of the sub partnership accounts. So it was purely something that was set up for estate planning years ago by their family, but all money is segregated and no parties within it have access to each other's accounts. And the one other thing that I do want to point out here is, and I understand that the city is being very careful here, and I always appreciate that. I represent probably 50 plus licensees, if not more, in the city of Boulder. But I want to be clear that nothing in the laws of the state of Colorado imparts ownership by marriage. So just because she's married to somebody else doesn't mean he owns it. And I understand that that's a family member, and I understand that there's disclosures that you may want, but we all know how divorce can go or death can go, and it depends upon what documents say and what laws say. And the way none of this is owned by her husband or the rest of her family, and nor is the money that was used to invest and to purchase the business.
Um, I'm not sure. You said we may want disclosures, but I don't mean, isn't that the legal? Isn't it legally they have to disclose? It's not that
Well, that's the
we want
question
that.
because they don't own another licensed entity anymore. There's no license. So it's really like a cart before the horse kind of. We are happy to supplement the IHR, but it would be supplementing it with information about a closed business that does not have a license. And so per the instructions on the IHR, there's like 2 pages of instructions that doesn't qualify.
Um, is
Did you
there,
follow? Like I'm not trying to be like dodgy. I'm just trying to follow the
no?
rules.
Well, I guess the rules would have been to disclose any family members or relatives that were helping. And I don't think there's an issue with them helping. It's just that she's not disclosing it. And there's all these other things, right? So we're just trying to gather as much information
Of
and
course.
and understand why so many things are not fully forthcoming. I was actually happy to see that they were going to reapply and do something. I That was a really hard case, but not being forthcoming is like not working. So just trying to understand everything.
I don't really think that there's any like not being forthcoming. I think that whether it's improper counsel from a lawyer about how to fill out state forms, we're happy to supplement them. And I mean, like I said before, I really think when you look at what the instructions say, like they're not employees, they're not being compensated in any way right now. They're just helping out Sunny while she gets the business under her. And to me, as a lawyer, as a third party helping fill out the applications for the state and the city, it wasn't what was being asked. And so that's on me, and we are happy to supplement again. And the reason we supplemented it to after the first visit from the city of Boulder, because they expressed a specific interest in Rojesh, and we thought that that's what they wanted disclosed. And we could have done more, but that was not how the conversation went after that visit. And again, I mean that's on me, I suppose.
Um, can
Uh,
you comment? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a clarification from something you said, Chair Roberts, that you were excited to see them, reapplying for an application. This is not that application. That's a different one that's still working its way through and has not been presented to the board. This is a completely separate license
I
transaction.
misspoke. I guess.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. I meant
Mhm.
I was happy that this family is still part of our community and still wanting
Okay.
to have be a part of the working retail
Okay.
community is what I meant.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Mhm.
you for that correction.
Yeah.
So
A big deal when this license was originally issued by the BLA with that new development out there, and there was like no liquor anywhere nearby, and that whole all of those new developments going up out there. So I think that the previous owner, Jake Novotny, was not being that successful in being able to transition that business, and so it was great to be able to keep this establishment open for the local. I know this isn't a needs and desires hearing, but I've got a stack of affidavits that you don't really need to see because it doesn't matter today, but of people who want this store to stay open.
Absolutely. Thank you. What about the unapproved premise modification?
To me, what really happened is, like I said, Sonny just got excited and they started changing things the moment that the transaction closed. And then I was like, we have to ask Boulder's approval before you do all of this. And we're waiting for the first, like, it was really like, and that's why we stopped. And like we said, let's do what we're doing today, get the license clean. And we have a modification that if you approve today, you'll get tomorrow, like an application for modification. We just felt like commingling all of this together didn't make a lot of sense when you guys had so many issues that you wanted, that it was clear we're going to get addressed at hearing, that putting in a modification of a premises when the license was only in a temporary standing after the citation didn't would have just confused you guys more. So we intend to and have drafted a modification of premises to submit. And so should you approve this and reject that, we also have the original design that was originally approved by the BLA and can revert to the original design should that be needed.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions so far from board members?
There,
Not for me.
I've got a question,
Okay.
Member Crane. Um, and it's so that I can understand better. I have experience with family businesses. You run a family business, lots of times the formal structure is only part of the story. The family structure is a big part of the story. And looking back on our experience with DDS, uh, uh, my impression was there was some bad judgment that was brought to bear and came from family members and infected the overall situation. And part of what's in my mind is, are we going to have to be on guard against the same kind of uh, phenomena if we approve this license transfer? What are the public protections against some of the I've said bad judgment. I really think it is bad judgment that was evidenced in that specific matter. Can someone speak to that? Mr.
And
Salinger,
yeah,
perhaps?
absolutely. I can do part of it, and we can let Sunny follow up. I was not the attorney for that license or on that matter, but what I do understand is that the biggest portion of the reason for revocation related to multiple sales to minors. This business, which Sunny has purchased, and the prior business did not have one of those scan machines. The
Yes.
actual machine. So they were checking everything by hand. This business that they have purchased has one of those, $15,000 machines that they're swiping everything. I have personally trained Sunny on driver's license ID, and I could do the questioning that I would normally do, like I would for a normal application about how she checks licenses. And she is also responsible for making sure that her employees get training from her and are tips trained on license identification. They have a follow-up. I've physically seen myself the manual that is next to the cash register. Should the scan machine go down, or should they receive outside of the US or outside of the state IDs? And Sonny, would you ever accept a vertical ID in the state of Colorado to purchase alcohol?
No,
Can you answer verbally?
no, just the physical.
Thank you.
No, no. You cannot hear me? I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I think it was lagging for me, so it's fine. I saw you shake your head and I didn't hear the
Yeah.
audio.
No, no. Yeah. I
So
was
I don't
shaking
know,
my head, but I
Member
was
Crane, I don't know if
replying
that
to.
addresses your concern, but we are eyes wide open about that, and this is a
I
different
want to
family
add
member
something to
who's in
it.
charge.
Yeah.
Um,
And it has been a learning lesson to us too, revoking the DDS liquor license. Yeah. So it's not going to repeat, that's for sure.
I guess I'd phrase it differently, and for me, it's were lessons learned. Can they be applied to this?
Yes,
Mr. Salinger,
100%.
you're saying they're going to do it by the book? Great. I'm very pleased to hear it.
I think they'll do it by the book. And the other thing,
Thank
like
you.
to your point, Member Crane, about just understanding family businesses, the revocation of the DDS license hurt this overall family just in general, like as a like on an income basis, just for a family. And they want to continue in this business, and they want to do right by the city of Boulder, and they're about correcting any mistakes they've made and being better actors and better citizens and business partners in the city.
Thank you.
True, true.
Um, just for the record, they did have a scanner at DDS Mart, and we talked a lot about that at that hearing. Just want to
My mistake.
clarify
Like I
that.
said, I wasn't the attorney on that. That was what I was led to believe.
And
Some reason it didn't work.
Um, sorry, give me one. Um, maybe can we take a 2-minute break? I need to confer with counsel. Is that okay, Caitlin?
Sure, absolutely. We will, do you want to come back at 4:05, or do you want to come back at 4:10 and give you 7 minutes?
Um, I think 2 minutes will be fine. I
Oh,
think
Member Crane was advocating for 4:10.
I just have a quick question I just want to ask counsel really fast.
Perfectly good with 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think 2 minutes should be fine.
Okay, great. Well, we'll come back around 4:05. Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Kristen, your background doesn't work with how nice a day it is.
I just keep wishful thinking that if I display it enough, we'll get some.
Remember, Crane, I put this in the questions before we got started, but I'm headed to those countries that you were in at the end of August. Hopefully, I don't have the ends part of your story, but I'm very excited.
Well, August is a good time to go.
You'll have to give me your email if I need to go to the ER in Uganda.
It's fascinating. There's a doctor there, a U.S., an American. Uh, I want to think he's a pulmonary critical care specialist. Been there
Oh,
30 years, created a hospital in the middle of the gorilla section of the mountains, staffed it with very capable people. It's like this gem that you just meet, and I was very lucky. So
that's funny.
I can steal you a hair straightener, but I hope you don't need it.
There we go.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
got a
thank
story.
you so much for that quick recess. Roberto?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to put something on the record, and that is that we did not go into executive session. I did not meet with the BLA as an attorney-client communication. I simply sent sections of the BLA rules of procedure to our chair. So I just wanted to make that clear in case Member Crane or Member Barnes was trying to figure out uh, where your invitation was for an executive session. That did not happen.
Great, thank you so much. Yes, I just wanted to make sure that, I was understanding all the rules and procedures. Um, okay, so to continue, I'd like to hear some details about how Ms. Streth, Ms. Strethra, how you intend to sell alcohol, how you intend to, I'm not seeing any policies here with your packet, so I guess that's where my confusion lays was, is this a transfer? What are we doing here? So can you please, in detail, tell us about how you intend to handle the sale of alcohol?
So once the customer come in, I physically, like, I definitely check I look onto the customer, and then I just check with their ID. I'll ask for the ID, and then I just check on the photos, and then I check if that's real or fake by looking at the quality or some basic fake. I just scan with, like, and we do have a fake scanner ID, and that do scan like fake. It does scan fake ID and the fake passport too. So I just put it on the machine, and then if it flagged, I will ask for the second form of ID, like a whatever, if they have a passport or anything. And if they cannot satisfy me, I'll just refuse to sell. If they're not like, if if they're not like satisfy me 100%, that I'm not 100% sure that they're not over 21, I will refuse to sell. But yeah, the thing with the DDS was it only had like a cash register scanner. It didn't have this fake ID scanner. And then we have invested a lot of money and time for this store. I can assure BLA that 100% that the thing that happened in the DDS is not going to repeat. And then I'm going to give my 100% to this store. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know
doubt
if
that.
it's that.
Um, I don't doubt that. I
Mhm.
don't doubt that you and your family and everybody has
And
the
it's
best
like a kind of,
intentions.
I just want to prove like, yeah, my family, I mean, basically, I really want to prove that my family deserve a store, like a liquor store. Like, yeah. So
Um,
it's kind of,
I
And
recall, I
I'm
recall
sorry,
it was,
member Roberts, just
oh,
really quick, because this is a change in structure and an acquisition of a previous licensee. There is a written alcohol policy, and this applicant has a binder of all of the policies that were drafted to obtain the
yeah.
original license, and they would still be subjected to and operating under them. We didn't submit them because they're not part of the exhibits that are required to the type of application we submitted, but I have it right here in front of me as part of the packet from the original hearing.
okay, great. Thank you. I think one of my big concerns is that it was one of the employees of DDS. And so once we really got into that hearing and started learning more about um, that, um, there was a lack of oversight with the employees and the employee not understanding the law and what was required of him. And so, what I'm trying to help myself and the board understand is how are we going to be looking at our employees? How are you going to, I believe you. I believe you're not going to sell if you're not 100% certain that someone is of age, but how are you going to guarantee that for employees?
So with the employee, I'm gonna do like the tip certification, like do it. I don't know if I I'm thinking of hiring two managers, and I'll let them, like, they need to do that certificate like every year, tip certification. Just give a refresher, like to check on what they need to do or what they cannot do. Yeah, those stuff.
But that's fine. But the previous employees were certified, and we've seen that certified employees have broken the law. I just want,
It, I just want to add something in there. I have never worked at DD Mart, so I have no idea how they operate, to be honest. I have been there like that store was there for like 3 years, I think, and I have been there for like 5 times maybe just to get some groceries or some chips, if I need to talk to my husband, like if I need to get something. I've been there. I don't know how that operates. So it's a completely different thing. DD Mart was owned by a different person. This is owned by me, and I will make sure we follow all the rules and regulations from the city to operate the liquor store. And yeah, I don't know how to
right.
assure you, like,
Okay, let's take DDS out of this. How do you plan on making sure your employees are not selling, even though they took the training? And this is a question we ask everyone who comes before us.
yeah, yeah. I just cross-check some. I'll just cross-check them. Like, I'll send some like people with the underage to get something like, uh, and I just like cross-check them. And I'm thinking once this hearing is done, I'm gonna hire two managers. So I will the only thing I can think right now is just the cross-checking them if they're doing it the right way. And we have a CC cameras. I'm gonna check CC cameras once in a while, like at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. I know I cannot be here all the time. I cannot check the CC camera for a whole day, but I will make sure I check cameras at least 20 minutes and then just cross check with them, like how they're doing. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of what I was wondering is, okay, great. Other questions from board members along those lines or anything?
I think the other intent also is for the applicant, once they hire and find the right person, to register an additional manager, not just hire a day-to-day manager, but a registered manager that's other than Sunny. But that person has to be identified, and we need the right person for all these reasons. We don't want to just hire just to fill a position.
Absolutely. Member Barnes, did you have a question?
I don't know. I think you're very thorough. Thank you.
Okay, then Attorney Salinger, would you like to make a closing statement before we deliberate?
I just want to say that I think that this applicant is making its best faith effort to comply with all the paperwork and be a good citizen within the business community in Boulder, and hope that we can approve this change in structure, and we will then proceed with the other changes that will make you guys all happy and tie it all neat with a bow on top, and you'll never need to worry about us again.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, then at this time we will close for deliberation. So we are tasked with either approving or denying this transfer, right? So she's bought a new business and they want to transfer this license. Comments?
From my point of view, we, I think we've asked the right questions about the background here and what's likely to happen. Um, there's still a lot of this story that's going to be told. If we approve this, then they've got substantial amount of work to do, and in that process, prove to us that they're fit for a license. That's my understanding. If that's the case, I'm all for giving them a chance to do it right this time.
Yeah, my only trepidation is that they weren't forthcoming with who the relatives are. They weren't kind of put the cart
So,
before the horse. I'm sorry,
yeah.
ma'am. We are closed for deliberation. They, which I get, you got a business and they went through all this and they spent a lot of money and she was excited and I understand that. But the discrepancy between was there prepared food, was there not, that is still I'm not sure about. I don't know that that would keep me from saying yes. I just want to bring those things up. Um, but I think I'm leaning more towards like of approval.
I agree. I think it's a little less transparent than I'd like to see with this whole thing. And I'm a little hesitant, but I think I'm okay with the transfer. And then let's wait, in my opinion, wait to see how we move forward from there. But I'm just a little, as you said, Chair Roberts, it's the transparency is not quite as transparent as I'd like to see. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah. Um, so I would make a motion to approve this transfer and yes. Is there a second?
I
Every
second
second,
the motion. Go ahead.
sure.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Um, this, yes, Ms. Teague.
I would just ask that applicant and or applicant attorney get with our staff so we can make sure that the proper subsequent applications in order to make some of these corrections are filed, please.
That
No
was
problem.
exactly what I was going to say. So we will approve this transfer. We want complete transparency. We are in your corner. The city is in your corner. The smoother things are, the less time it takes, less of everything. Smooth sailing. So please just be transparent about who you're working with, about where the paperwork is, about your system, and we're all good, okay? And always answer city emails. Okay? Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. Thank you.
Guys, I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I'll go ahead and get settled. Let's see. Okay. I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 7, which is public hearing and consideration of an application filed on December 26, 2025 from Pupusas Lover LLC, DBA Pupusas Lover 2, 2525 Arapahoe Avenue, Unit E, 1B, Boulder, Colorado 80302, Claudia D. Quijada, 50% owner and proposed registered manager, and Sylvia E. Quijada Diaz, 50% owner with the premises business mailing address for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand and I will let you in. Okay, as our applicants are getting settled, I will let the board know that in your packet, you're going to see a change of ownership application for this applicant. And that is because before they were able to come to hearing with you, they did change their ownership structure. So the actual ownership structure based on the application is let's see, is Claudia Quijada is 100% owner of the license, and it no longer includes Sylvia E. Quijada Diaz. That change was communicated to city licensing after the agenda was published. So that's why you see some of the change information, and Ms. Quijada can hopefully give us more information about that. And Claudia, I see that you're here. If you can turn on your camera and unmute yourself.
Hello?
Let me see if I can, here we go, if we can get you to turn on your camera. And I think I saw some other hands. Is anyone else planning on speaking on this matter?
Hello?
Okay. Hi, Claudia. Are you the only person who will be speaking on this matter today?
Yes, I have my accounting guy, I think, with me, but because my English is not perfect, but I try to do my best.
And would they like to be let into the hearing so they can speak? I see he's raised his hand. There we go. All right, I'll let Mr. Trujillo get in here. And I see that Miss Johnson is also present and she is being promoted as well. All right,
Thank you.
Claudia, I will go ahead and start with you. Can you please say your name and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Claudia Quijada. It is Claudiaquijada.
Thank you. Can you provide an address for the record?
My home address or the restaurant address?
Either is fine.
Okay, it is at 27449 East Canyon Place, Aurora, Colorado, 80013.
Thank you so much. And if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
I do.
Thank you. And do you swear or affirm that the premises was posted for 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Mr. Trujillo, I will go ahead and move on to you. And just to confirm, you are not an attorney for the client. You are
Correct. I am not.
Okay.
I'm their
Perfect.
accountant.
Thank you so much. So I'll go ahead and swear you in next. If you'll just say your name and spell your name and give an address for the record.
Jonathan Trujillo, Jonathan, Trujillo, Trujill. My address is 22119 East 10th Circle, Aurora, Colorado, 80015.
Thank you so much. And then if you'll just state your relationship to the applicant.
I'm the accountant for Claudia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Miss Johnson, I'll go ahead and have you do the same thing. If you'll say your name and spell your name for the record, give an address.
Carol Johnson, CarolJohnson, for Liquor Pros, 5515 Saddle Rock Place, Colorado Springs.
Thank you. And if Ms. Johnson and Mr. Trickle, if you'll, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. If you'll both go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I will hand you over the board.
Great, thanks, Caitlin. Okay. This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the applicant Papusa's Lover LLC DBA Papusa's Lover 2 shall be license shall be granted or denied. This hearing is for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license shall be granted or denied. This hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado and the rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder. The purpose of this hearing is to receive information, data, and testimony by interested parties in order to enable this authority to make the findings and to reach conclusions required to be made by the state law as to whether or not the license applied shall issue. Interested parties for the applicant are the applicant, residents of the neighborhood under consideration, and the owners and managers of businesses located in the neighborhood under consideration. For purposes of determining who is the interested party at this hearing, the neighborhood under consideration is the neighborhood previously defined by the authority. The authority shall make final determination of the affected neighborhood prior to determining whether the license shall be issued. Any interested party may speak to the question of neighborhood designation as well as other information relevant to the granting or denial of this application. Members of the authority, has there been any ex parte communication or conflicts of interest with this establishment? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
Member Crane, no.
Great. Then, Ms. Guidata, if you are ready to proceed, you may.
Yes, we try to open for license SAS sign like we open in 2023. And we have a lot of problem with the zoning for the permit and get the all the stuff. And so we are in the way right now.
Could you talk to us more about the establishment and your intention with alcohol sales?
Yes, my establishment it is proposal number 2 is a little bit bigger than I used to have before, and we try to make the people to please my customer and the customer to please my customer.
I'm sorry, what was that last part about the customer?
We like to please my customers.
Did you have have you been responsible for a liquor license before?
No, I used to working in the hotel for a long time before I opened that restaurant and banquet server. And I used to do sometimes bartender in the place and the hotels.
Here within the city of Boulder?
No, I used to in Denver.
In Denver?
Mhm.
Can you talk to us about your policy?
Yes, we have some policy. We have to check ID. We can send it over like Give me 1 second. I have a page right here I can read. Um, we have to serve it alcohol in moderation. We need to check IDs. We don't have to participate and we need to engage a promotion like from my intensification.
What age, at what age do you want people to look like in order to decide whether or not to card them?
Uh, I don't understand what you said.
A customer comes in
Uh-huh.
and you will decide whether or not to card them. What is that age for you that you're looking for?
Yeah, the 21 is up.
What does your policy say?
Um,
I know the answer. You don't have to look it up. I was hoping you knew it. Can you talk to me about acceptable forms of identification? What are you going to, what kind of identifications do you allow?
that means check the ID, so what is on there?
You have a section called acceptable forms of identification include. I was wondering if you knew that.
Let's see.
Um, again, we have this policy in front of us. I wanted to know how familiar you are with it because are you going to be training people?
Yes, we already have appointment for the training. We talking with the lady, let me see.
Can you talk to me about who your employees are going to be and how you're going to train them?
Yes, her name is Carla Gonzalez. Um, on the training, we talking with the lady, with the Colorado sponsored training.
Have you done that training?
No, we talking with her. I think it's gonna be let me check that they say it, you know. It is that cost of 75 for 10 people. It is gonna be hold on, I'm not sure. No, I just talking with them.
Ms. Criada, who wrote your alcohol policy?
Uh, who's got what?
Who wrote your alcohol policy?
I did.
You did?
I did. I did. She has the policy in front of her. I texted it before the meeting, told her to get really familiar with it, but we actually sat down and went through it a while back. I just think that she has a hard time finding what you're asking her, but we
I
are gonna,
wouldn't
yeah,
expect that she needs to find it. I would expect that she knows it.
that she knows it by heart. Yeah.
If it's her policy that she's
Yeah.
adopting and she is the one responsible for selling alcohol.
Yeah, she has it in front of her. I texted it before the meeting, and we spoke about it before. But go ahead and ask her and see if she she could answer you.
Could you, I might have missed this, Mr. Trio.
Yeah.
Could you tell me who you are? I thought you were
I,
helping with.
I am. I'm the person that helped her file the application. I did the service policy and fill everything out for her. I do her accounting. I've been working. They've been open for, I believe, over 2 years, and I've been working with her. But she asked me to help her apply for the liquor license, and of course, in the application, that we have to fill everything out. And I'm the one that helped her do everything from beginning to end.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are going to get training with Liquor Pros. Well, I'm not sure them or Lawrence. I'm not sure if he's involved with them or if it's a separate company, but we are going to get training with them for before we start selling alcohol for all the employees and also for Claudia, because she might be a little bit rusty in knowing everything 100% of how everything should run. So she is going to get training before we even start operating.
Yes, Ms. Johnson, did you have your hand raised?
No, he answered the questions. I was just going to help her that we have talked to them in regards to scheduling the training.
Do you know when that's scheduled for?
Yeah. I don't know the dates, no, but I know they have been in communications with our owners to set this up. And as Mr. Trujillo said, will have the training before they actually start doing the survey.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
No.
Not seeing any. Okay, you can proceed.
Would you like me to do the report from now? I see she turned her mic off. And then if you have any other.
This is your hearing, Ms. Kuyata, so however you want to proceed.
Go ahead for Liquor Pros.
Oh, okay. And if you have any other questions, you can go back to them. This is Carol Johnson for Liquor Pros. We are a third-party neutral petitioning company that provides the needs and desires surveys for liquor and marijuana licenses and do provide the responsible training. We use the paperwork and the map that is provided by the city Boulder and point out when we are in front of a business or a resident that they can sign in support or opposition. And then there is also a place for comments. We usually try to start the closest to the location and radiate out so we have samples from different areas. We do try to take into account that there are a number of areas that are very heavily concentrated with student housing, and we try to not spend too much time in those areas so that we can have the adult community and not a lot of people under 21 that we are talking to. We move out from there, and we do keep a tally sheet of every stop in contact we make and the results from that. This petition, the businesses were done on Friday, March 6th, and the residents were done on Saturday, March 7th. From that, we made contact with 105 businesses and 311 residents for a total of 416, and we obtained 120 signatures. The breakdown on that was we had 59 business sign, 100% of those were in support. We had 61 residents sign, 60 were in support, and 1 was in opposition. 1 person felt there were too many licenses in the area. We had 49 who declined to participate, 16 too busy, 15 do not sign petitions or surveys, 9 were not interested, 6 businesses was against their company policy, and 3 gave no opinion. There were 35 who were not qualified to sign, 18 were under 21, 12 did not have a business owner or manager available, and 5 were non-residents. I do believe this shows there is a need and desire of the neighborhood for this license. As she mentioned, they have been open for a while, and a number of the people that were contacted were familiar with the location. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Johnson from the board? Not seeing any. Okay. Um, Ms. Criada, you can proceed.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any other statements or closing before we close for deliberation?
No, I'm feeling okay.
Okay. Then at this time, the board will close for deliberation.
Thank you.
I don't know. You guys got some comments? I'm a little weary about this.
I think some more training has to be done for Claudia and for other people. I think she's a tip and she needs to know information more. Not that she has to memorize, but she should familiarize her more with the policies and procedures, and because she'll be leading the team. And if the leader doesn't know what's going on, it's going to be hard to train the team. So, in my opinion.
That was kind of my opinion too. I'm not
I
thinking of
agree.
Mhm.
This application has the feeling of being premature. It's like the important things that will deal with the risk to the community and the benefit to the community are really not supported by evidence as far as I can see. I mean, Liquor Pros respect that organization. I know they did a professional job. I'm sure that there's a needs issue, but that doesn't address the issue of how it's going to actually operate. And that's I think a concern I have, and if I'm read the tea leaves, my colleagues have the same concern.
Yeah, I'm not thinking um, denial, but I'm thinking a continuance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I
Come
would
back
make
to us when you're ready to give us what we need.
a motion to continue this hearing until maybe next month or even the following month until all the training has been completed and we have a better idea of how alcohol is going to be handled at this establishment. Is there a second?
Member Roberts, I'm so sorry. Can I interrupt? Would you mind giving me a direction on what agenda you would like to see this continued to
I
exactly?
guess I don't want to say next month, but they can't get in and get their training done and we have to continue it again. And so that's why I said next month or the following, really on their schedule for when they feel prepared to come before us again. That
I'd
was,
argue for a 2 month continuance, uh, just because it seems like a month just isn't enough time to give us what we need to have in order to approve this. I
yeah,
may
I
be
don't,
wrong.
well, I never want to hold a business up either and say it can't be next month. Um,
No,
if
no,
they are
okay.
ready. So Caitlin, I don't know how we can maybe work with them on that. But I would say yes. Thank you, Roberto.
Hi, two things. We can certainly put it on next month's agenda. And if the applicant believes that they are not ready, they can simply contact staff and say, "Hi, can you please pull it from that next
Great,
month?" So that
great.
it puts it on the applicant. If they want to, push it as quickly as they can, that's fine. If they think they're going to need more time, that's fine too. And then the other thing on your motion, I just want to make sure um, Liquor Pros does not have to appear at the next hearing because this portion, the needs and desires, has already been dealt with.
Thank
Perfect.
you, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so then I'll make the motion. I'll just make it clear again. So I would make a motion to continue this until the next, until our April hearing. Is there a second? Or do,
A second.
and Liquor Pros does not need to show up. I don't know if that is part of the motion or not. Um, And member Crane, you seconded that. Sorry,
Yeah, I second it.
I really messed this up. Let me make it clear for the record. I make a motion to continue this until our April hearing and Liquor Pros has already fulfilled their duty and do not need to show up. Is there a second?
Member Crane seconds.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Craney.
Okay, so we are excited for you to grow your business, but we don't feel the training is adequate. So we're not confident that there won't be some underage just by accident, right? Not on purpose. We just don't feel confident with this policy and the training, and we look forward to you guys coming back next month, hopefully understanding a little bit more about our safety and concerns for the community and addressing those.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, we might need an interpreter so that we could better understand each other. I think that was an issue today.
Sure, yeah, an
Yeah.
interpreter, the city clerks are available for any questions that you might have in order to feel more prepared. Lean on
Yes.
us. We want to, of course, see you succeed.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank
you.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just get everyone situated here. Oh, okay, perfect.
Caitlin, I will be back for Gaia Masala, the last one.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, that sounds good.
So I'll sign off for now.
Okay, no worries. All right, I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 8, which is public hearing and consideration of an application filed on December 29th, 2025 from Neptune Mountain LLC, DBA Neptune Mountaineering, 633 South Broadway, Suite A, Boulder, Colorado 80305. Maylee Spung, 100% owner with the premises business mailing address for a new beer and wine type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand. I see Ms. Spung is available.
Hi.
Good afternoon. And Ms. Bung, will you be joined by anyone else?
Yes, I'll be joined by Erin Kutzer, our general manager.
And will you be represented by an attorney?
No.
Okay, great. I'll go ahead and swear you both in really quickly, and then I'll hand it over to the board. So Ms. Bung, if you'll just say your name and spell your name and give an address for the record.
My name is Miley Spung, Mailespung. My address is 140 Pitkin Mesa Drive, Aspen, Colorado 81611.
Thank you. And Mr. Kutzer, if you'll go ahead and do the same, say your name and spell your name for the record and give an address.
Yes, hi, my name is Aaron Kutzer. That's AARONKUTZER, and my address is 1180 Hartford Drive in Boulder, 80305.
And Mr. Kutzer, will you just confirm your relationship to the applicant?
Yes, I am an employee. I'm a general manager at Neptune Mountaineering.
Thank you. And I'll have you both go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes.
And do you swear or affirm that the premises was posted for at least 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll go ahead and hand it over to the board.
Great, thank you, Caitlin. And let me go ahead and read this into the record. This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the application of applicant Neptune Mountain LLC, DBA Neptune Mountaineering, for a new beer and wine type liquor license shall be granted or denied. This hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado, the rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder. The purpose of this hearing is to receive information, data, and testimony by interested parties in order to enable this authority to make findings and to reach the conclusions required to be made by state law as to whether or not the license applied for shall issue. Interested parties are the applicant, residents of the neighborhood, Interested parties are the applicant, residents of the neighborhood under consideration, and the owners and managers of the business located in the neighborhood under consideration. For purposes of determining who is an interested party at this hearing, the neighborhood under consideration is the neighborhood previously defined by the authority. The authority shall make a final determination of the affected neighborhood prior to determining whether the license shall be issued. Any interested party may speak to the question of the neighborhood designation, as well as other information relevant to the granting or denial of this application. To the other members of the board, has there been any ex parte communication or conflicts of interest with this establishment? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
Member Crane, no.
Great. And then if you are ready to proceed, and I'm sorry, your name is
Miley.
Miley? Okay.
Yeah.
If you are ready to proceed, are you ready to proceed?
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Neptune Mountaineering is a longstanding business in Boulder, mainly serving outdoor customers. We're an outdoor specialty retail store. We also operate a cafe within our space, serving light food and coffee drinks. We also run events bi-weekly and are looking to include beer and wine sales within our cafe portion of our store and also to augment some of our events. Our retail is still our number one focus, and we're really looking for this just beer and wine uh, license to offer something for people to be able to purchase in the afternoons. We close our cafe currently at 4 and would like to be able to keep it open and offer service until our store closes as well.
Great, thank you. Um, questions from the board? I have a couple. Can you talk to me more about like your service hours? So you're saying at 4 p.m. you'll start selling?
No, well, currently our cafe just closes at 4. And then our retail space stays open till 7 p.m. on weekdays, 6 p.m. on weekends. We would change our business hours to be open till 7 p.m. always and we would start serving beer and wine. I forget what, sorry, I looked this up and forget the state regulated time. I think it's noon to be able to start serving beer and wine through the evening.
Well, I don't see that in your policy, which is why I'm specifically asking. So what are
Oh, yeah.
service hours? What have you outlined in your business plan to the hours you'll be serving?
In I guess I would probably need to update that in the alcohol service policy, but the plan was to serve it from noon through when we close at 7 p.m., not during the morning hours.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm familiar with your establishment. It's a pretty large store. Can people walk around with this alcohol? Are you going to be putting an area? How does this work?
Yeah, so currently we will only allow alcohol within the cafe area of the store. It won't be allowed in the outer patio or anything. We don't have physical partitions to block people from moving into the retail space, but we will have signage and staff uh, making it very clear and regulating that they cannot move into the retail space with their alcohol.
Do you currently allow people to take their cafe drinks into the retail area?
Sorry, I'm in the library and they're kicking me out of the room that I rented. So let me just relocate really quickly. Currently Aaron, I'll let you speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks. I can speak to that. Currently, we don't prevent folks with coffee drinks from going from the cafe portion of the store to the retail portion of the store. The alcohol would be an additional responsibility for us to keep an eye on that to prevent them from walking around the store with alcohol.
I'm sorry, how would you keep an eye on that?
So we've got robust staffing levels, a couple of people in the cafe, and usually a minimum of four, including a manager on duty on the retail side. It's already their responsibility to check in with anyone who wanders into the retail side. So it'd be the responsibility of both retail side and cafe employees to prevent that.
I see. Um, can you talk a little bit about intoxicated individuals and how we'll handle that?
Yeah, so we are always planning to have a manager on duty. Again, like Aaron said, it's like you said, it's a big space, but we will have a manager, whether they're in the retail or the cafe, with oversight over both. And all of our staff will be trained by the state program that, and we would probably do tips training as well, just to make everybody very aware of what it looks like for people to be intoxicated. We will have all staff trained in service levels, and if they're having any issues, work with a manager, cut people off, ask people to stop drinking and not leave.
So you'll have like your retail staff keeps people kind of inbound and are approaching them if they leave the cafe. Um, and so does that mean that all the employees will be trained on alcohol policies or just the cafe workers? Just
All of the managers will be trained on alcohol policies. I think we'll do our own internal training on all for all employees so that anyone can recognize signs of intoxication. But we are planning to have the Colorado Responsible Vendor training for the cafe staff.
understood. Are there other questions from the board?
Me.
Um, how do you plan on checking for fake IDs?
Yeah, again, we will do the Colorado approved responsible vendor training program. And per our alcohol policy, we'll be asking everybody for an ID. Um, we'll have our staff trained on looking for evidence of tampering with names or expiration dates or things like that. And if anything is suspect, bring a manager in because we'll always have one on duty. And if there's any doubt, just not sell to somebody.
Um, any other questions? I did notice, sorry, I keep talking. I did notice you don't have anything in your policy about employees drinking while working. Are you going to have any policies around that?
Yeah, we do have an employee handbook that clearly states that there is no drinking allowed on the clock in any part of the store. And so this would be just in line with our current policies about alcohol consumption on the clock.
I see. Okay. Um, then you do want to proceed?
I don't think I really have any more to add. We're really looking to add this as a experience booster for people already coming to our store. Aaron did the petitioning in the neighborhood, and we got pretty overwhelming support from our neighborhood in terms of businesses and residents. So we feel like it's something that people want, and we feel like a lot of our events are very community oriented, they're education oriented, and so we'd love to have this as a way to augment that.
Mr. Kutzer, any elaboration or any details you want to include on your experience with the petition?
Sure. I can tell you I'm not a professional at petitioning like one of the people we saw earlier. But we canvassed the area businesses and I think all of them in the Table Mesa area all approved. I think it was something like 20 different businesses. The overwhelming reason why they favored us moving forward was sort of adding to the community experience. And then for residents, we had a couple of different ways of gathering names for the petition, and one was presenting it to customers at Cash Wrap, and the other was canvassing in the neighborhood. And again, as Miley mentioned, overwhelming support. So that's all I like to share.
I do see that, and I appreciate that you guys went to the businesses. Any other questions from the board for, okay. If you,
Mr. Kutzner, did you do the petitioning yourself directly?
Yes.
And did anybody refuse to support your petition?
I had some that weren't interested, Mr. Crane. They weren't interested in signing one way or the other, so they didn't indicate approval or disapproval. But I had literally no one who signed the petition and said no. Yeah, it's a good question. It actually surprised me.
Me too.
So, some people abstained, but nobody voted
Mhm.
no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
then would you like to close or say anything else before we deliberate?
I just want to say thank you guys for your time and the consideration for a beer and wine license for us.
Thank you. Okay, then at this time we will close for deliberation. Comments, questions? I'm not surprised how many people are in favor of this, just being familiar with the neighborhood. So I think he did a great job. I'm always looking at the small businesses to see if they were included in these, and it looks like a ton of them were. I think that's a really good sign. I do like how they are not going to just train like the people in serving alcohol, but how they're going to, because I'm not sure if you're familiar with the establishment, but it is rather large and it is mostly retail. And I like that they're already considering that all the employees on the retail side know what to do and signs, and that's already a clear policy. What are you guys thinking?
I agree with that. I'm familiar with Neptunes, and they've been around for a long, long time. A very established retail store, and the cafe is going well, it sounds like. And I think added beer and wine would be a nice addition for them and for their customers. So I think I'm in favor of it.
Do you want to make a
Yes,
motion?
a lot of positives here, and not as the member of the neighborhood, but I can tell from a distance that this adds to the quality of life in Boulder, and this is the this is a positive event for the community. So I'd be in support of it.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to grant Neptune Mountaineering LLC a beer and wine type liquor license.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Draynor.
Okay. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you so much. We're excited to move forward and uphold what you guys have given us as a good member of the community. So thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Just give me a second. All right. I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 9, which is public hearing and consideration of an application filed on December 30th, 2025 from Easton Co. Ops LLC, DBA Easton Co. 2100 Central Avenue, Boulder, Colorado 80301, EBG Holdings LLC, 50% owner with Topple Gregory Scott as owner and Dine and Dash LLC as 50% owner with Joshua Denier as owner with a premises business mailing address for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand and I will let you in. I have a few that are coming in here. All right, perfect. Mr. Gamal, hello, you are counsel for this applicant, is that true?
That is right. Good to see you.
Do you mind just recording your appearance real quick? We'll get that over with.
Yeah, Austin Gimmel on behalf of Easton Co. Registration number 52753.
Thank you so much. And who will be testifying today?
We have quite the Brady Bunch for you today. We have Aaron McCullough from Oedipus Petitioning. We have Mr. Tappel and Mr. Denier as the owners and operators of Easton Co.
Right. Perfect. I'm just gonna get everyone here. Okay. Mr. Tappel, I'll go ahead and start with you. If you'll just say your name and spell your name and give an address for the record.
My name is Gregory Topel. That's Gregory Topel. I live at 2112 Pine Street, Boulder, Colorado.
Thank you so much. If you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
I do.
Thank you. And then did Liquor Bros post the poster, or would you like to?
Greg did it. Yeah,
Okay,
Greg, you
perfect.
can
And then if you'll
affirm
just keep
that.
your right hand raised, do you swear or affirm that the statement or that the premises was posted for at least 10 days prior to today's hearing?
I do.
Thank you so much. And then Mr. Denard, I'll move on to you. If you'll just go ahead and say your name and spell your name for the record.
It's Josh Diner, Joshdinar. I apologize, I'm in the car. I will be at my destination in a moment. And my address is 2075 Oak Avenue in Boulder, 80304.
Thank you so much. And I don't know if you can raise your right hand since you're driving, but do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
I do, and I'm raising it in my head.
Okay, great. And then I see that Oedipus Petitioning is here as well.
Hello.
Hi, Aaron. If you'll just go ahead and say your name, spell your name, and give an address for the record.
Aaron McCullough, 6032 Blue Ridge Drive, Apartment A, Highlands Ranch, Colorado, 80130.
Thank you. And if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and hand it over to the board.
Great, thank you, Caitlin. Okay. This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the application of applicant East and Co. Ops LLC, East and Co. for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license shall be granted or denied. This hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado and the rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder. Attorney Gemmel, are you okay with me with waiving the reading of the rest of the procedures?
Yeah, I would definitely save you some time on that. I was going to jump in and do it. So yes, completely okay with waiving.
Great. To the other board members, has there been any ex parte communication or conflicts of interest with this establishment? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
Member Crane, no.
Okay, great. Then you may proceed.
Thank you so much. I am going to start with Ms. McCullough to go through the petition methodology and the results received, so we can get her out of here. But Aaron, I know we've done this a million times, but could you just walk us through the petition methodology and results you received for this particular application, please?
So, Oedipus Petitioning is a third-party survey company conducting needs and desires surveys for the state of Colorado and was engaged to perform a petition survey of the designated area to determine the needs and desires for a hotel and restaurant liquor license application for Easton Co-ops LLC doing business as Easton Co. Payment for our services was received upfront, and Easton Co. was informed that we cannot guarantee results. The designated area consisted of businesses and residences within a radius of the principal location determined by the liquor licensing authority of holder. Of the accessible business and residential dwellings, a wide-ranging sample of the designated area was surveyed for this petition over 3 days of surveying on March 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2026. To try to maximize contact with residents and business owners and managers, we go out on weekdays and weekends. Business owners, managers, and residents were informed that Easton Co. was applying for a hotel and restaurant liquor license. They were asked if they were over the age of 21 and if they would be willing to provide their opinion on the license's issuance as fully detailed on the petition form. Any person who did not wish to sign was asked if they would like to sign in opposition, making sure that they knew that they had that option, or if they just didn't want to sign at all. Out of the 350 potential contacts that were surveyed, 182 were not available or not at home. Of the remaining businesses and residents surveyed, we were able to make contact with 168 people. Of that number, 29 people preferred not to participate, 4 were neutral to the outcome, and 32 were not qualified to sign. 0 signatures were deleted, and of the remaining participants, 101 signatures were in favor of the issuance of the license, which includes 23 businesses and 78 residents. 2 residential signatures were in opposition, 1 stating don't drink, and the other not stating. So 98.06% of those who participated were in favor of issuance, and 1.94% of those who participated were in opposition. And as far as needs and desired signatures, 100% were in favor and 0% were in opposition. And compared to similar type licenses, these results appear normal in terms of participation versus non-participation and favor versus opposition. And overall, the general feedback was received was extremely positive, as residents and businesses are excited for the new business to open.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough. I do not have any further questions for you. The board may have some questions, though.
Any questions from the board? I'm not seeing any. Okay, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. May I excuse Ms. McCullough? Okay. Thanks, Aaron, as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You too. So now, we're going to move on to the meat and potatoes of the direct of Mr. Tapel and Mr. Diner. And Caitlin, we've done this in the past, but I think I'm able to share my screen. We just have a kind of a robust floor plan, and I wanted to be able to walk through it, if that's okay. Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Were you able to look at the public packet?
Yeah, let me
And do
see
you happen
this.
to know what page you're referring to in there? Because I'll
Oh,
share.
yeah. Actually,
I believe it's page 310.
Thank you.
yeah, I was just on it.
All right, give me 1 second and I'll share for you. That way you don't have to worry about navigating the Zoom. Just let me know if you need anything else.
Okay. That's totally fine.
All right, hopefully everyone can see.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind just doing one more zoom in, I apologize.
Zoom in? Yep,
Yeah, that's good right there. Yep.
perfect.
Okay. All right, Mr. Tapel, we're going to start with you. So as we just give a brief introduction to this particular application, can you just kind of walk us through what the concept is for Easton Co. and what you're looking to introduce to the community?
Absolutely. So Easton Co. is a kind of a mixed use building. It's got a conference center, it's got a coffee shop, it's got a restaurant, it's got a bar, it's got a very nice patio and front lawn, and it's intended to serve the surrounding business community and residential community, primarily operating from the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So primarily that lunch and evening, breakfast, lunch, and evening kind of a crowd.
Okay. And this is in an interesting area of Boulder. What did this building used to be?
So it was almost 100% office. There was a small little deli located there for a little while, but yes, as you mentioned, there's not a lot out here, so we do feel like we are going to be a welcome addition to the area.
Great. And you mentioned a restaurant and cafe. Can you just kind of walk us through what kind of menu items you'd be serving at that restaurant and cafe?
Sure thing. So, if you can kind of see, it's a little hard to see on the floor plan, but the square located towards the bottom third of the main building is it's a deli case, a grab and go, high-end sandwiches, salads. It's also got pastries and it's featuring Ozo coffee. That's going to be activated from 7 till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon to serve breakfast, those kinds of things. The restaurant itself will also be offering light, full-plated breakfasts at that time. The restaurant, we're considering kind of the north end of that building, which is planned north there. And you can see that there's a centralized bar there, and then the patio and the lawn are also available for seating, WeWorking, really any kind of community gathering.
Great. And just to reiterate, what type of concept would you say the restaurant is? Like what type of
Oh, I'm
food to
sorry.
get
Yes.
us excited? No,
Yes,
it's
I'm
all
sorry.
good.
I didn't get into that. Yeah. So the restaurant is going to operate from about 11 to 7, 11 to 5 certainly, and 11 to 7 if need is demonstrated. We're calling it New American mostly because we want to do everything under the sun without a whole lot of limitation. We've got an incredible culinary staff putting forth really a restaurant we're incredibly proud of, but you can think of it as kind of full service entrees, a great counterpart to the more casual kind of cafe that you see in Plan South.
Okay, great. Thank you. And with this type of liquor license, will at least 25% of your sales come from food and non-alcoholic items?
Yeah, almost assuredly. All of our other operations with similar caliber usually run about 65% food, 35% alcohol. But because of the location, the hours of operation, and its proximity to all the businesses, we expect it to be much closer to probably 75 or 80% food. Yes.
Okay. And I appreciate you kind of starting to walk through general hours of operation in terms of activation of the restaurant and cafe. One of the reasons I wanted to bring up the floor plan was I wanted to talk a little bit about your green and yellow tiles on this floor plan. Can you just explain to the board what those are intended to represent?
Yeah, so those are staff members. The green tiles represent everybody who's going to be certified alcohol service certified. The yellow are satellite staff, more sets of eyes, more sets of hands, more sets of high touch service, but they are not necessarily alcohol certified. So they're the bussers and the market attendants. I did forget to mention the market as well. There's going to be a cute little retail market within the centralized area as well. So really what we're trying to demonstrate there is standard coverage for a reasonably busy kind of a service, demonstrating that both for business reasons and for observational and supervisory reasons, our staff to guest ratio is very high by design. We have a lot of people, a lot of trained personnel running around this area for a lot of what we would consider really good reasons.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're just hitting on the staff to patron ratio, which was what I was getting at. So, safe to say, I know people move around, but the general placement of the tiles is your intention for staffing of the entire area. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean these are human beings and they're serving and they're running around. But yes, yes, that. So essentially, if what you can't see on this, but maybe the board has familiarized themselves, is if you scroll up, you'll see kind of a legend or a key that tells you M is for manager, S is for server, B is for bartender, A is for attendant, H is a host or a bus or those kinds of things. So there's a key that kind of maps out how we anticipate what's going on. So again, by design, lots of managers, lots of staff.
Great. And what is your ideal staff to patron ratio at higher operating times?
Yeah, so most restaurants run at about a 20 to 1 or worse. We're showing about a 15 to 1 ratio right here, and at the internal places with bar and restaurant where alcohol service is going to be the most, it's actually closer to 12 to 1.
Okay, perfect. And speaking on those green tiles, those individuals who will be handling or serving alcohol, let's kind of walk through some of the training that you're going to put them through as an operator. So if you could help us understand if there's any certifications that they're required to receive, as well as any internal training procedures that you'll put them through, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we've been doing this a long time, so we are very aware of the custodianship and the honor that the alcohol license or the ability to sell alcohol is for us and for our entity. So the all staff members will be craft trained. We were TIPS certified. Boulder has recommended, and we have adopted moving to the craft training. So everybody will be craft trained within 30 days of the hire date. If all goes well, we are hoping to open in April. We have almost our full staff on board right now, and we will by the end of this next week. We are doing our full staff training on the 27th of this month, so everybody will be craft certified before we open. And then ongoing, we'll actually host a craft training session on site once every 2 months for our staff and for whomever else would like to come. Then we have a very robust initial training that everybody who goes through our training, it's a 2-week training program, much of it heavily weighted on how to deal with alcohol service, realizing that it's one of those really high pain points that we want to do better than everybody. Then we're going to, on a daily basis, we have pre-shift meetings, both for any lunch or evening service. Alcohol service is addressed at each of those, and then we have ongoing training and assessment, so that we know that what we're training is being retained.
Okay, perfect. And I appreciate the robust explanation. Do you also intend to employ any sort of shadow programs for, say, a new server, a new bartender coming on to potentially shadow more experienced servers and bartenders?
Yeah, everybody's going through. So as we say, it's a 2-week training process. Actually, the satellite is only a 1-week training process, but yes, it involves written assessments, classroom training, shadowing, leading, what we call shadow and lead. So they're following for 3 shifts, they're leading for 2 shifts. And then what we think differentiates us is at the end of this training, we do a very robust assessment program to decide, yes, that's stuck, or no problem, we'll get you back into training before we let you loose on the floor. And again, that's for alcohol service, but it's also because we really want these folks to have this high touch service, this cultural expectation. It's kind of a hallmark of what we do, and it's crucial to us. And so that level of intricate training is the only way we achieve what we're trying to do.
Perfect. And will you have any other tools or resources available to staff to be able to check IDs or verify IDs, such as like an ID book for out-of-state IDs?
Yeah, so we always do have current ID books and passport books. So, we're gonna always accept, valid state issue IDs, never vertical IDs, and or a passport. Any foreign passports or any out of state IDs will always be confirmed by a manager in those ID books.
Okay, thank you. And so yeah, let's talk just a little bit about this floor plan. You'd already mentioned servers, so is the intention for, the entire premises to be full service, or is there any sort of point of sale type of sales that are also anticipated just for food and drink?
Yeah. At all times when volume dictates it, we want again that really high touch service, so standard service. But there is the point of sale that we use will allow for QR code service as well. So there could be some QR code service, especially like on the lawn or something like that. But that QR code service is for food only. Human beings, trained staff are the only people that will be interacting with any type of alcohol sale or
Okay,
service.
perfect. Thank you. And so your main bar, which is essentially at the top of our screen, right in the middle, is that the
Middle third.
primary?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. No, no, I
Sorry. Yeah.
appreciate the literacy. No, it's all good. So with that being said, is this the primary source of where alcohol is being served? I know we have some spots designated on the lawn that we'll talk about in just a second,
Yep.
but that main bar, is that the primary source of alcohol service?
It absolutely is. Yes.
Okay. And if a patron were to walk up to a bartender at the main bar and order a drink properly, are they allowed to walk around your establishment with that alcoholic beverage? And if so, how are they monitored and supervised?
So as you can see, again, it's primarily by the staff and the staff ratio, the managers. Yes, if they came in, presented a valid form of ID, they could get one drink for one ID. If they had any other friends, we will escort them. We will try to, again, high touch service. So, but one drink for one ID, one valid form of ID, and then beyond that, even if they have a drink and they're walking around and they sit down and they obviously have a beer in front of them, any new person taking an order from any patron has to, by policy and decree, has to ID them again. So again, it's one drink, one ID, and everybody's getting ID'd for any new interaction with a new service provider.
Okay, no, that's perfect. And I'll just put it into an example for you. So if I walk into the main bar and order a beer, and I walk out to the patio and I want another beer, and I ask the server out there at the patio for another beer, your expectation is that server is going to card me again.
They are going to very graciously smile about it, but yes, they're going to card you.
Okay, perfect. And so when I know the restaurant is likely going to be open during most of your operating hours, but when it's closed, can you just tell the board a little bit about how you're going to enforce security protocol around alcohol, either in storage or behind the bar? Could you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, again, we are going to have a manager on site from open to close, one in the front, one in the back at all times, and then during peaks, it'll be two in front, two in back. They will be deploying the staff wherever there are guests or patrons in the building. By design, this has got line of sight everywhere, so our managers can see every nook and corner of this property, and so it will be perpetually and constantly monitored.
Okay, perfect. And just as another formality, anytime you're serving alcohol, will you also have your, restaurant meals or your full deli meals available to guests?
Yeah, no, food is the cornerstone of what we're doing and will be available for every hour that we're in operation.
Great. Let's just briefly touch on the market hall. You had mentioned a retail center. Can you just kind of talk us through like what types of items that you're intending to sell in this market hall? Because, I
Yeah.
understand the concept to be more restaurant related, but this market hall is a unique concept, so I just wanted to touch on it.
Yeah, so it's intended to showcase local. So if we've got a specific honey that's available on one of our dishes, we're going to feature that. It's got merchandise. It's got merchandise, it's got local dry goods, it's got you can order meal kits and things like that in this marketplace. It's really it's not really a revenue driver, it's more of an attractant to the community. Again, we're hoping that we can be a one-stop shop for anybody who wants to come in and who's been working all day, and they came and joined us for coffee in the morning, and then they came and joined us for lunch, and now they want to take a meal kit home to their family, come home as the hero. It's intended so that you don't have to go to all of these other shops on your way home. We'd really like that to be a unique part of what we're doing as well.
Perfect. Thank you. And let's go outside now and talk a little bit about the patio. So very unique patio design. And I wanted to kind of just break this down for the board. If you wouldn't mind just describing how is this patio area? I know it's got staffing levels, but can you just describe how it's enclosed and
Yes.
essentially what contains patrons within that patio area?
Yeah, so as you can see on the floor plan, there is there's a chain and bollard fence that follows that whole red line. The red dots that you see indicate signage that clearly states, no alcohol beyond this point. But even more so, what is kind of we included the foliage around the whole place is going to be, again, by design, very dense, very lush. There's no traffic going in and out over that foliage. So there's a planting schedule, which I don't know if it means a lot to everybody else, but I didn't know what a lot of those plants were. But at any rate, the idea is to really impress upon everybody that there's very specific points of entry and egress, and nobody's really wandering in and out beyond those.
Okay, so by way of example, even if I try to hop over this chain and bollard, would I be stopped dead in my tracks with a lot of foliage?
Yeah, you would, and with a lot of staff. I again, that's not that. If that happens, we're all over it, but I don't think people are doing that. Yep.
Okay. And for the hours of operation of the patio, since I know we live in Colorado, I mean, this year you probably could have operated all year round, but could you just generally describe like what you intend the hours of operation for the patio to be
Yeah,
seasonally?
Yeah, so seasonality is kind of a hard moniker to put on it. It's actually going to be temperature based. So we will always staff and prepare really year round for patio operation. That with technology the way that it is and our forecasts, we'll know, if it's going to be in the 20s or something like that. But really, our managers will be trained to bring in all patio staff for any day that's over 55 degrees, and anything under than that, we will actually close the patios.
Perfect.
So it's more temperature based than seasonality based, is what I'm saying.
Perfect.
Because
And so,
Colorado's Colorado, yeah.
yeah, from Arizona, I'm not used to this at all. But with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the blue shading on the patio.
Okay.
These two blue shading spots, these two ovals, can you just describe what this is intended to be or what it is intended to serve?
Yeah, so for seasonality, we hope that the lawn and the patio out there is a huge draw to what we're doing. So we would like the ability to set up a satellite bar out there, both again for the high touch service, but also because then we have a stationary employee who's monitoring the whole situation the whole time. We designated a couple of areas that we thought that that would be enacted, one or the other, not both, but one or the other, given volumes or large party or large events or something.
Okay. And so just to clarify, like your mobile satellite bar would be in one of these two spots or designate it's given as an idea of where this satellite bar could be.
And we wanted to allude to the fact that we're hoping to do that on occasion. Yeah.
Okay. And with the satellite bar, is it operated in the same way as your main bar? Is it staffed with a bartender? Is it broken down each night? And is it also, I guess equipped with security protocol to ensure guests aren't able to just access alcohol very
Yeah.
easily?
Yeah. So anytime we have a satellite bar, it will be manned 100% of the time. All procedures, policies, everything is followed to a T, just like inside. And then it would be fully constructed and deconstructed for this service. So everything that goes out, nothing would stay out there.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about events. You'd indicated on the application that you may be interested in hosting events from time to time. Could you first just describe what type of events that you would be interested in hosting at this space?
Yeah, again, this is the at the heart and soul. What this thing is a community gathering center. So if we would love to host, the occasional wedding or bar mitzvah or a corporate event or something along those lines where can come in and enjoy a sit down dinner or mingling or something like that. But yeah, we've got a good amount of space and we'd like to utilize it to its fullest. So we don't anticipate that that's necessarily going to be a large part of what we do, but we'd like the ability to do it.
Okay. And when you have events, is it your intention to maintain the same staffing levels that you have currently and trying to maintain that 15 to 1 that you had
Yeah,
previously
it'll be
highlighted?
15 to 1 or better. And anything larger than that, we're also fortunate enough to have access to additional security, additional staff members. So yeah, that ratio will be regardless of the amount of human beings that come.
Okay. And for those events, for high traffic events, do you anticipate using any sort of other security measures to help verify if people are over the age of 21 and can consume alcohol, or 21 and over, I should say?
Yeah, so I mean, for if it turns into a truly large event, then we would have additional we would call them doormen, or there's everybody who's every human being coming in the property would be ID'd, identified with a wristband, or not if they're underage. So that's additional level. And then on top of that, even with the wristband, these poor folks are going to have to get ID'd again.
Okay, double down.
Yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate you um, elaborating on events, and I'm guessing that's really when the conference room would be in use as well, in terms of corporate functions or other types of events that you had just referenced.
Yeah, that is the intention, is because of the large adjacent business community that yeah, we would love to host conferences.
Okay. And you'd also indicated on your application that you may be interested in hosting live music from time to time. Can you describe a little bit about, the genres of music and how often that might occur?
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to have some good ties with some community members, but really what's being contemplated now is kind of a jazz trio on a Sunday afternoon or something like that. Where that it's intended more as background music than as any kind of main attraction.
Okay. And would your staff be, not saying that anyone's going to complain about a jazz trio, but is your staff equipped to handle noise complaints from either BPD or any other enforcement agency, or maybe just a disgruntled neighbor?
Yeah, 1,000%. There's not a lot of residential close by, but yeah, we will always be within, we are familiar with and will always operate within the time parameters and decibel parameters of any kind of music, be that live music or background music, anything like that.
Perfect. Thank you. And so yeah, I'm done with this floor plan. I want to move into my last bit of questioning here for both you and Mr. Diner. We'll start with you, Greg. Can you just kind of walk the authority through your experience in the hospitality industry, particularly in Boulder?
Yeah, sure thing. So I've been doing this for a good long time. I started my career in Northern California, up in the Napa, Sonoma, San Francisco area, moved here, intended to come out for a summer, and now it's 23 years later. I worked for one group for just about 18 years. It was called the Walnut Restaurant Group. It was famous for, I ran the Med, the Brasserie, and Via Perla for 18 years. Loved every stitch of it. Then about 6 years ago, branched off to do my own hospitality management company, and then have recently partnered up with Josh for some really fun things. And I'm feeling very, very honored to be a part of this project, and I really think it can bring something special to that part of Boulder.
Great. And during your time, especially in Boulder, have you ever received any sort of liquor license violation?
No, thankfully not. We had 450 employees and those three restaurants, and we took it, yeah, very seriously. And no, I have not.
Okay. No, thank you. And Mr. Diner, also a household name in Boulder. Could you just walk us through a little bit about your experience and background in the hospitality industry, particularly in Boulder as well?
Sure. Yeah, I started actually started in restaurant media back around the time that Greg was at the Med. Started a magazine called Dining Out. I got to know the industry through that, and then got to love the industry through that, and started with through various partnerships. several endeavors over the years in Boulder. We have the restaurants that are still active right now. We started Tiaco Restaurant, which we've since sold to the manager, and River and Woods, which is about to celebrate its 10th anniversary this year, and now East and Co, which we're very excited about.
Great. And I appreciate the background. Mr. Diner, have you ever received any sort of liquor license violations in your past?
Unfortunately, we have. I would say that we also take it very seriously, Greg.
I know you do. I know you do, Josh.
Unfortunately, in the first 6 months or so of being open at River and Woods, we had a new employee who was nervous and looked too quickly at an ID, and was caught by enforcement for underage service. So that was, I believe, 9 years ago. And a number of compliance checks since then, countless compliance checks since then, and no other violations there. We did also have another incident during COVID, shortly after COVID, or that first summer of COVID. We like everyone, were trying to kind of make things work and getting creative, and we had a music program that we were running with a nonprofit music group in town, and giving artists a chance to play when they didn't have any gigs. So we were pretty proud of it, but unfortunately, we were serving from a bar in the backyard, and we failed to file that as a modification. We honestly didn't. We failed to do we failed to do what we needed to do on that, not recognizing really that we needed to do it, unfortunately. So we did have a violation for failing to file a temporary modification for that service bar. Lesson learned, and it's one that we're applying to what we're doing at East and Co.
Great. And yeah, you started to hit on what you kind of learned from those experiences, and I appreciate the accountability. But, do you think with Greg's outline of robust employee training that it sets you up for the best chances of success to always pass compliance checks and avoid any sort of other violations?
I can say with full confidence that there is nothing more that we'd be able to do to protect against all of those things.
Okay, thank you so much. And last question, you'd also scheduled, or you've been in contact with the Boulder Police Department to do a walkthrough of the space. Can you just kind of describe what the purpose of that is, and essentially, and why you're looking to do it?
Is that me or Greg?
Greg can answer. It's not a problem. I know Greg is kind of always leading the charge on BPD walkthroughs.
Yeah, so we just on experience with some of our larger venues, we've really enjoyed our partnership with Boulder Police Department, and we love bouncing the ideas of what we're planning on doing, seeing if they have any ideas or improvements, suggestions or recommendations. So we previously have had that done before the liquor hearing. This time, I think they'd like to schedule after. So we still hope to do that, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's not going to happen before the liquor hearing. So.
No worries, but it's in the works, so to say.
Yeah, and again, it's just something that's been really mutually beneficial, and it's above and beyond on their end, and it really helps us out. So.
Great. Well, I have no further questions for you two. The board may have some questions, and I appreciate everyone allowing us to take another half an hour to go through this. I know it's a bigger floor plan, so just wanted to walk through it with the board.
Great. Thank you so much. That was a really great presentation. Caitlin, do you mind taking this off the screen if we're done with it? Thank you. You're the best.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Any questions from the board?
Very thorough. So I so appreciate that.
Thank
No problem.
Agree.
I
No
only have
questions from me.
I only have one question. The policy that you included in this packet, Is that the one that you hand out to your employees?
So that one we submitted two different ones. There was an employee handbook that has the specific alcohol service policy, and we extract that and submit it to the board separately just so they can easily find it. But the actual policy is in the employee handbook, and if you go through the employee handbook, there are several different items that employees are having to be trained on, and they have to certify or initial.
Okay, I was just wondering because that presentation was so thorough. I crossed out all my other questions and I thought, is this what they're giving to their employees? This like
Oh no,
weird stuff?
there's a
Okay,
big handbook,
It's
yeah, and
it's
we do that
it's
for your purposes.
I just had to call it out. That was my only
yeah,
question.
it's 55 pages. It's
Well,
unbelievable. Yeah.
I appreciate you zoning in. I was just like,
Yeah.
really? I
Really?
was like, okay, great. Oh, and it was a thorough. I want to go on the record of saying it was thorough. It was just like a wall of text, and so just
Yeah. I
and
know it's
blurry
always fun. Makes your eyes gloss over, I know.
a little bit.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, if we don't have any questions, do you have any final or closing statements before we deliberate?
Sure, just very briefly. So as you know, with new applications, I guess our big two legal hurdles, one being needs and desires, the other being good moral character of the operators. Um, with Ms. McCullough's testimony, it appears clear that this is an underserved area of Boulder where, residents as well as business owners and managers appear to be very interested in having a new establishment, especially a hotel and restaurant establishment to frequent. Given, Greg's robust testimony, especially on potential patio events or other types of services bolstering local economy. So, one, we feel that needs and desires have been adequately met despite two people in opposition, not essentially for a needs and desires basis. And then the second being good moral character. As the board has highlighted, Greg and Josh have been doing this for a very, very long time. And, there have been some bumps in the road, very minor ones over 5 to 9 years, but they have taken full accountability for those. And with their new training procedures that we have walked through in a very long-winded fashion, which I appreciate, I think it clearly identifies that they are going to be very good operators in this space in terms of ensuring compliance with the laws, as well as the frequent enforcement checks that Boulder Police Department and as well as the LED frequent. So, in short, we believe those two hurdles have been met and would respectfully ask for this license to be issued.
Great, thank you so much. All right, then at this time we will close for board deliberation. Um, I think this is a cool concept. I think it's great for the community, and I would make a motion to approve this license.
I second the motion wholeheartedly.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Green eye with enthusiasm.
Guys, exciting, really exciting. Thank you for bringing it to the community.
Thank you
Thank
both
you.
so much.
Thank you very much.
We really
Bye.
Thank you,
appreciate your
guys.
time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. I'm just gonna go ahead and get everyone situated. All right. Okay, I will move on to agenda item 10, which is public hearing and consideration of an application filed on February 3rd, 2026 from Shri Sidi Hayanka, LLC, DBA Guy Masala and Bar, 1116 13th Street, Boulder, Colorado, 80302. Hira Kunwar, 50% owner, and Nandal Nayapane, 50% owner and proposed registered manager, with a premises business mailing address for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license. If you're here to speak on this matter, please go ahead and raise your hand and I will let you in. I see that Mr. Bimeford, who is the attorney on this, is here.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And Mr. Benford, I see that you're here as well. Perfect. There you are. Oh, you're muted. Oh, there we go.
And an audio button. I'm sorry.
No problem. And Mr. Benford, you are counsel for this licensee or applicant, is that true?
That is correct.
All right. And if you'll just go ahead and record your appearance for me.
Excuse me. James Bimeford, Beimford, call registration 13142, and I'll have a sip of water so I can hopefully get
No
my
problem.
words out.
And Nance, you are the applicant.
Yes.
If you'll go ahead and say your name and spell your name and give an address for the record.
Nandalal Nyopane, 10060 West 101st Drive, Westminster, Colorado, 80021. As a Nandalal, Nandalal Nyaupane.
Thank you so much. If you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the beverage licensing are true and correct?
Yes.
And do you swear or affirm that the statements, that the premises has been posted for at least 10 days prior to today's hearing?
Yes.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Johnson, I see you're with us as well. I'll just go ahead and swear you in for this matter as well. If you'll say your name, spell your name, and give an address for the record.
Carol Johnson, CarolJohnson for Liquor Pros, 5515 Saddle Rock Place, Colorado Springs.
Thank you. And I see that your right hand is already raised. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give before the Beverage Licensing Authority are true and correct?
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and hand it over to Chair.
Great. Thank you, Caitlin. Okay. Uh-oh, I lost my page in the packet. Okay. This is a public hearing before the Beverage Licensing Authority for the City of Boulder to determine whether or not the application of applicant Shri Sidnyak LLC DBA is Gaya Masala and Burger for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license shall be granted or denied. This hearing is conducted pursuant to the laws of the state of Colorado and the rules of the Beverage Licensing Authority of the City of Boulder. Attorney Bimford, are you okay or do you waive the reading of the procedures?
We would waive the reading of the procedures.
Thank you. To the other members of the board, has there been any ex parte communication or conflicts of interest with this establishment? Member Roberts, no.
Member Barnes, no.
Member Crane, no.
Okay, then if you are ready to proceed, you may.
We would ask Carol Johnson as our first witness.
Okay.
Carol, can you tell us the methodology and were you retained to do petitions for this location on 13th Street? And you can tell us the methodology and the results of your petitioning?
Yes, we were. We are a third-party neutral petitioning company that provides the needs and desires surveys for liquor and marijuana licenses and provide responsible vendor training. We do not by the city of Boulder, and we let everyone know that they can sign in support or opposition and make comments. We use a tally sheet that keeps track of all of our attempts and the results. Normally, we start the closest to the areas and work our way out. We did that with the businesses. However, in this particular mapped area, almost close to 3/4 of the area is designated student housing currently. So we did try to start out a little further away, pick a number of different streets to give good examples of the residential housing. In this case, we worked one weekend daytime and we worked 2 late afternoon evenings on the residents alone. This was hard to do when it still was before the time change, but we did try to make a good attempt at the residents. And we were going to do one more weekend, but we had the big snowstorm. But I think that our results will show that the needs and desires were addressed. We worked on residents on Sunday, March 1st. businesses on Monday, March 2nd, businesses and residentials on Wednesday and Thursday on March 4th and 5th. From that, we did 89 door knocks at businesses and 244 residents for a total of 333 door knocks, of which we obtained 92 signatures. 46 of those were businesses, 100% were in support. We had 46 residents as well. 45 were in support, and one was in opposition, and they gave no reason for the opposition. There were 39 who declined to participate, 10 not interested, 10 too busy, 7 no reason, 5 do not sign surveys or petitions, 4 against alcohol, and 3 businesses who were against their company policy. We had 42 who were not qualified. 19 of those were businesses that did not have an owner or manager available. 14 were non-residents, and 9 were under 21. This restaurant has been open for, I believe, 5 years. They'll go into more details with Attorney Bynford, but a good portion of the people were familiar with the restaurant, with the business and what they serve and their hours, etc. And as you can see, the petitioning does show that there is a need and desire for this license to be issued in the neighborhood, knowing all of their past and future good rapport with the neighborhood. I'd be more than glad to answer any questions.
I have nothing if the board would like to inquire.
Any questions from the board? Not seeing any. Okay, you can proceed.
Okay, we will ask. I always refer to him as, call it as, like James and Jim, Nandu as his nickname. Nandu would be my next witness. I believe he's already been sworn in. Okay. Nandu, can you tell us your name and well, you've told us your name, your occupation?
Nandalal Neopane, like I'm a owner of the Gai Masala and Burger. His
And
business name is Sri Siddhi Vinayak.
You're the 50% owner?
Yes, I'm a 50% owner.
And you're also the on-site registered manager for that location?
Yes,
Okay. And are you going to be active in the operation of Gaia?
yes,
You're currently active. You'll be active after the event you get a liquor license?
yes.
And Gaia is currently open for food service at that address. How long have you been open for food service?
We start in 2019.
So close to 7 years?
Yeah, close to 7 years till now. This is the first location for us.
And your hours for the 7 years, you're open late night for food service?
Yes,
And since you opened, you were open till 4 a.m. for food?
yes.
Okay. Please work us through tell us the concept that Gaia operates.
We have a like fusion concept, like in late night open. We have Indian, Mediterranean, and burgers. Like we have a like tikka masala burger, like a fusion concept. So, and we open like a late night. We have other location too, but other location we open like 10 to 3 a.m. So that's our concept.
You have a total of currently have 4 liquor licenses in Colorado?
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, we have 4 liquor licenses.
You have 2 in Denver, 1 in Colorado Springs, and 1 in Fort Collins?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had a liquor violation at those other 4 liquor licenses?
No.
And you also now have expanded to New York City and Kansas City. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been open since 2019. Do you currently receive requests for alcohol service?
Yeah, when we like a lot of customer, like every day, like 5, 6 customer, they asking like mostly tourist this area, and then they ask for the liquor, and then we like prefer the food, but some they like eat the food, but some they want a liquor, so that's why.
Okay. So you receive multiple requests daily for alcohol service, but primarily from tourists because the locals after 7 years know that you don't currently have liquor?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, After you receive your liquor license, what hours will Guy operate?
Uh, Little like a different summer season and the other season, but right now like 8 a.m. to 2 a.m.
I'm sorry, 8 a.m. till
2
for
a.m.
food till well,
For food, normally we have on the register like 6 to 4, but liquor only 8 to 2.
till 2 a.m.
Yeah, but last
Okay.
call is 1:30.
Okay. How many employees does Guy have?
Like 6 full with me, and then 2 part-time.
And excuse me, if you were granted a liquor license, are you planning you might add some employees?
Yes.
Do will Gaia train their employees regarding liquor service, and will the training be tips?
Yes. And I have a tips license too, like 360 tips license. And we train, like we have a manager meeting every month, and every month minimum and 2 month, and every day like 10, 15 minutes every shift meeting. So about not a boulder right now, but the other location we have always one topic is the liquor license, liquor like service things.
When you'll require tip certification of your service employees, and
Yes.
new employees will have to get tip certification within how soon after they're hired?
Mm, we we call as soon as possible, but the maximum is 30 days.
Okay. And what policies will you have regarding checking IDs and vertical IDs?
We refuse the vertical IDs, but if they have passed like today's like a 21, check the manager or I will check. But other IDs, we have like a handbook, like ID book too, and then we have a Clover UPS, like Clover system to scan it the valid ID or not.
And do you have a policy of carding everybody or under a certain age?
What do you say?
Do you have a policy of carding everyone or for a certain age? If someone looks under a certain age, will you card them or everybody?
No, everybody we have to see the ID. Like I feel like more than like 50 years or like that. So less than feel like that. So we look everyone to ID.
And will each drink require identification?
Yes.
So if someone came up to the counter and ordered 4 drinks, you'd need 4 IDs and to verify who the people are.
Yeah, they have to attend everyone's to if they drink, if they sit on table, everyone to show the ID. Need to show the ID.
So based on your other four restaurants in Colorado and 2 out of state, what are you projecting for your possible food sales compared to alcohol sales?
We mostly sell the food, but like 10 to 90%, like 10% like alcohol and 90% the food.
And that's your projections based on your other restaurants?
Yeah, too.
Okay.
Some little up and down, but it's normal. Average is 10 and 90.
In addition to the daily requests, what have you done any kind of research? What kind of feedback have you got from the neighborhood on asking for liquor service?
Yeah, everyone's like give us great feedback. If like we apply like long time ago, like almost 2 years. So joining have a problem last times, and then we fix everything. That's why we tell the customer, hopefully one day we have a liquor license. So everyone excited, everyone like residents excited to liquor
You mean
license.
working through zoning and your developmental application?
No, not right now. Like
No, that's
before
what's taken the 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Okay. And part of the development zoning, you also had an online good neighborhood meeting?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And you also have outdoor seating?
Yes.
How many seats do you have outside?
6 seat.
Okay. And what kind of visibility and what kind of security do you have outside? How are you going to maintain alcohol service on that 6 seats on the outside?
We have a visible, we have a picture on the door, but this is see-through, so we have visible too. And normally we don't serve like outside. We have a serve outside, but if we serve, we have a one employee to focus the outside to look like somebody still or what's going on to customer.
So you'll staff the patio if there's any alcohol
Yeah,
served at
yeah,
that time? Okay.
yes,
And you have visibility from inside of the patio?
yes.
Okay. And you also have a railing around the what's designated as a patio?
Yes, we have.
Okay. I have no further questions. If the liquor board would have any inquiry.
Great.
Um, I have a couple questions about the I'm sorry, about the policy. Um, it's confusing because what you're saying sounds robust, and you've obviously had other liquor licenses and have maintained good standing, but this is a very light one. Can you talk to me a little bit more about like, sorry, I lost my questions here. When about so you have this liquor policy, how are you going to train not just doing like the state training, but how are you going to train your new employees? Because you said you might need to get some new employees here. And the reason I'm asking is because this is a college town and you're on the hill. And so just really want to understand how you will be training your newer employees and how you're going to handle larger crowds and underage drinking and just kind of if you can comment on.
Yeah, we do the two shift manager, like mostly in the late night I am under there because it's a little crowded. And then like when the customer comes, they wanna like liquor, we ask first the ID. There is a driver license or state license, state ID or passport. Like similar to if foreigner passport or something, they call me and then I told, if you are any confusion, you call me to, I will take care of this. So we check on the if like other state license, we have a book in there, like what color and what writing, everything's like, so we don't want a fake ID. And so if someone we are confusing, we ask the another, like you have another IDs or passport or something. If we are confused, we don't sell the alcohol. Like if mine are confused, we don't sell alcohol. Please, sorry about that. We recommend the food. So um, everyone's we we training like if you have any small question, you ask me. So if someone coming like a visible in like a like intoxicated or something. Sorry, I have a long time waiting. So, and if visible is like difficult and we don't sell them and we help to like drive home or some things, I will help if others like bars like drunk and come back also whatever we saw as a visible we don't sell them in other location too, and obviously when we get a license we don't sell them too. So we don't want to like business right now, we want to be a future. So we very conscious to the like any violence.
Mhm. Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Are there other questions from the board? I'm not seeing any. Okay. Um, Attorney Binford, you may continue.
Nandu, on specifically, you say you regularly you have meetings with your staff.
Yes, we do the regularly every day, like a 5 minutes minimum 5 minutes to maximum what the situation going on is something like not only liquor, like food, everything quality, and like everything customer service, everything. So we have a great customer service review too, and we do every day.
Are your liquor service policies brought up at those meetings?
Yes, we do. Always, we have one topic always in the liquor service.
Okay. And your Fort Collins location, I'm not sure about Colorado Springs, they're also close to the college campuses?
Yes, and
Okay.
Fort Collins, yes, and Colorado Spring also.
Okay. And you haven't had a violation, well, in any of your establishments?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I have
Great.
nothing further.
Thank you for that clarifying question about where the other establishments are located. Um, okay. I don't think there's any other questions. Did you want to give a closing statement before we deliberate?
Oh boy, briefly. I'm sorry. But this is a great Boulder success story. These guys that weren't formerly in the restaurant business, one of his partner were involved in student housing, I believe food service. They're both originally from Nepal, and they came up with a concept that is just from yeah, when I saw masala and burger, you don't see most Indian restaurants, but it's a combination of American, Middle Eastern, and it works. And they focused on college campuses with their expansion. Now they're in New York and Kansas City. It's it's just a great local success story. And we do the petitions and they knock on the doors and we get the needs and desires. But we have a restaurant that I think the petitions are what we're used to, but we've been open for 7 years and they get daily requests for alcohol. There's a real need and desire from the customers, the existing neighborhood. They're a known quantity. We had the good neighbor agreements with the zoning, and they've done a good job with the crowd that late. Um, it's something that appeals to the students. I know when I was a student at 3 in the morning, I've had their food. I would have been right there. So it's a great Boulder success story, and I think alcohol service allows them to to compete with their nearby neighbors, which all have liquor now after the long history on the hill. So I think it's the need desires there. Their track record with 6 licenses, 4 in Colorado with no violations. They do a good job of monitoring. They're focused at the campuses. I think it's a great concept and everything for to add liquor service and continue their success like their other restaurants. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you so much. Then at this time, we will close for deliberation. Comments?
I think they've got a
It's not
proven
to
track
like.
record, which yeah,
What's
which
Yeah, super unique. I'm glad that we clarified that they've done business in other college areas because, of course, the Hill, that's where we have most issues.
Yep.
Yeah, I would make a motion to approve this license. Is there a second?
Member Crane
I second the
seconds.
motion because I
I knew that was going to happen. I saw
Of
both of
course
you
it
pausing.
is.
Okay, let's get just one clear second. Remember,
Ginger, you go.
I second the motion.
There
okay.
you go.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Looks really cool.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks a
Good luck.
lot. Really appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you all. Okay, I will go ahead and move on to agenda item 11, which is matters from city attorney. Roberto, do you have anything?
Hi, everyone. I have nothing tonight.
Thank you.
Perfect. I'll move on to agenda item 12, matters from licensing clerk. There's no legislative update for you today. We do have one boundary setting, and that is for Joy Hospitality LLC, DBA Odd Rabbit, 5863 Arapahoe Avenue, number A2, Boulder, Colorado 80303 for a new hotel restaurant type liquor license. I'll go ahead and share my screen. The suggested boundaries for this is going to come from Black Belly Market, which is over here. And that is Pearl Parkway extended on the north, Baseline Road on the south, city limits on the east, and Foothills Parkway on the west.
I'd make a motion to approve those boundaries. Is there a second? Oh, Member Barnes, I think you're
Second, I
making,
second the
but you're
sorry.
muted.
There you go.
Second motion. There we go. Sorry.
No
Okay,
problem.
all those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Okay,
Okay,
approved.
perfect. We have no transfers for you this month. And we have two other things. So we had a discussion regarding boundary settings for future BLA hearings on this agenda. Did you want to push that to next month since there's two members missing, or did you guys want to talk?
Was it about like the administrative side of it?
Yeah, so city licensing had some suggestions for how we can change boundary settings from something that you do at the hearing to something that would be administrative.
I'm comfortable making, or at least taking a vote and seeing where we stand, but if the city feels more comfortable with all of us being here, we can wait.
That's totally up to you, whatever you feel.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So Elisa prepared three different options, and Kristen, feel free to chime in on this. But the first option is for the city licensing to just fully administratively give boundaries. So we could do like 1 mile radius from the location or 2 mile radius or whatever the case may be. And then the other one would be for us to kind of do that same thing, but still put it on a agenda so that it would be on the agenda, but it would be you wouldn't vote on it. And then this third, is there a third option, Kristen? Can you remind me? I'm so sorry.
No, I pretty much think that those are the two, one fully administrative and then the second, it's fully administrative, but the notice goes on the agenda so the public's aware.
Yes. And the fully administrative would take the least amount of time for applicants, and the second one would take around the same amount of time as it currently does because it would have to go to hearing. Or you can leave it the same, is what it is now.
I feel good about having this be administratively done just to move things along. But I think my where I'm reluctant is just setting like a 1 mile or 2 mile, like because I think that we take into consideration when something is more densely populated and not. So if we can make a request that you guys are kind of agile on the radius based on kind of our history of besides the COVID setting, because that was a blip, kind of strange. If I mean, then I think I would I would think that that's good. Any comment from you guys? Do you have any issues with that?
I think that sounds perfect. It's a great
And
compromise.
Cool.
Awesome.
So then I would make a motion. You want a motion, I'm guessing.
That would be great.
I'll make a motion to approve that boundary setting is now an administrative process.
second that motion, Member Crane.
All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
Member Barnes, aye.
Member Crane, aye.
Great.
Awesome. And then so we will go 1 mile. Do you want to do 1 mile from the location, and then unless it's like sparsely populated, then it would be increased or something like that?
Yeah, just best judgment based on how this has historically been set. So maybe if those boundaries have already existed, use them again, or yeah, I mean, I think you guys,
That'd be my counsel too. You've got the experience.
yeah,
You got it.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, you guys are leading us, so trust you.
Okay. Fantastic. I know that that does have to go through process with City Council. So, Roberto, Lisa, and Kristen, and maybe me a little bit will work on that. And we'll let you know when that is fully in place. You'll still see boundary settings for the foreseeable future, right, Kristen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and hand it over to Kristen. She's gonna talk to you about something that we just need to make a decision on.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Caitlin, and good afternoon again, authority members. So regulatory licensing is needing to ask for an urgent scheduling of a round of special hearings. We need to have one special hearing and then subsequently a second correlating special hearing soon after that. Unfortunately, I can't give too many details at this time, but I do have two sets of dates to propose. I know we don't have the full BLA here, but we do kind of have a very important timing issue on this. If I may propose those dates.
Sure.
Thank you. The first option would be for the first special hearing to occur Tuesday, the 24th, and we can do that at any time in the afternoon or early evening. I know that that's outside of your normal Wednesdays, and I do apologize for needing to choose that date, with the second subsequent special hearing on Wednesday, April 1st, at a time of your choosing. The second potential round would be the first special hearing to occur on Wednesday, the 25th, at a time of your choosing, with the second special hearing on Wednesday, April 8th, at a time of your choosing.
Is there any possibility it could be, well, I'll just throw this out there. I have not conferred with anyone. The 23rd? Could we do it Monday, the 23rd?
Unfortunately, one of the staff members we need at this is unavailable on the 23rd.
Okay. I can't do Tuesdays because my husband's on the planning board, and so we have that conflict.
Certainly.
Either.
Could we do April 1st and April 8th, keep it on Wednesdays? Is that possible? I know it's combining two options, but that way, because Chair Roberts can't do Tuesdays.
What time does the
Right.
planning board start? Are they at 3 p.m. like we normally are, or are they at 6 p.m.?
They're at 6 p.m., but I have, I mean,
Other responsibilities.
well, I leave
Sure.
work early once a month, and my
Got
work
it.
is very nice to not make me use PTO.
Can I look at something here real quick?
And as you consider this, know that the first hearing will be a very short one.
Okay, that
The second one
That helps.
will be like one normal hearing, but the first one should be short.
If I may also, well, go ahead. I apologize, Chair Roberts. I did not mean to
well,
interject.
no, I was going to say if it's short, I could do that Tuesday, like 4 o'clock or after. If
Okay.
we it's going to be short, that would be fine.
Mhm.
And
Okay,
I
I
don't
could
know
do
any of
that.
I don't know any of the details, but I suspect, Kristen, there would be one witness in
Yes.
that hearing. Yeah.
You think under an hour and a half?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Then I can make Tuesday the 24th work if I guess everyone
I
else
have
can.
anesthesia that morning, but I'll have cleared my head by the time we, or I'll
What
keep
time
my
are we
mouth
talking?
shut.
I'm at your pleasure. At 4 o'clock was thrown out. We've done special hearings at 5 p.m. before as well. But if a 4 o'clock would work better, I'm at your pleasure for that.
I could do 4, but I need to be out by 5. Is that an hour on the 24th?
It should be. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so plan on 4 o'clock on the 24th.
Okay.
And then that gives the other hearing
On Wednesday, the 1st, at what time? We would need to set a time for that one, the secondary hearing.
Sorry, yes, and that would be, what dates are you asking for that one?
So so it's kind of a package. It's like an if then. So if the 24th at 4 p.m., then the second hearing would be Wednesday, the 1st at whatever time.
4 p.m. again. I can do the first. Hopefully our other two members can join us.
Yeah.
Is it because of availability of the other participants, Kristen? Because it has to be done within 15 days, right? Like 15
Correct.
days or less.
That's correct.
So March 14th, what is that? 8 days, 9 days?
So March 24th would be the very first special hearing, and I had anticipated having everything out and done for the after that for the second hearing for that to coincide with that to go on April 1st at whatever time.
Is it possible to do it on March 30th, that Monday?
I did not poll
Or April
staff to see if they could do the 30th.
And we can also do that by email. Check availability for the 30th.
Okay.
Or the 6th. I'm just kind of trying to, or Monday the 6th. Believe it or not, I take a class every Wednesday and I miss it, run over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
I'm
so-
sorry.
No, I mean, it's a commitment that I made. And so but I would hate to miss it more than once a month.
Right. I could, so if we're doing the required setting for the 24th today, and then I can do an email poll about the 30th, that would be acceptable, Attorney Ramirez?
Yes. Yeah, so as long as it doesn't go past 15 days, we're fine. So you would have until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Because I could send the polling email tomorrow.
Yeah, until the 8th of April.
Right.
Okay, yeah, some emails tomorrow would be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I need a motion for the 24th since they are setting it, or is this discussion enough?
Nope, this is it's a administrative process. No motion.
That's what I just wanted to double check. Yep. So the first special hearing will be set on Tuesday, March 24th to begin at 4 p.m. And then I will send out an email poll as to the 30th is 4 p.m. the same, or do we want to maybe go to 5 p.m. for a start?
5 p.m. would be better.
Okay. Okay. Member Barnes, would the 5 p.m. work for you then?
Yes.
All right. And Member Crane?
I can do that.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kristen.
Thank
you for doing that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
That's
everyone.
all I have.
All right.
Thanks,
See you guys
Kristen.
soon.
Okay, and that's like next week. Okay.
And just a heads up that correspondence, I won't be clerking those hearings, so that correspondence will be coming from Kristen, or potentially Lisa. So, if you see emails from them, that's what it's about.
Perfect.
And then last we have agenda item 13, which is matters from chair and members of the authority. If anyone has anything.
I do not.
Perfect.
Great. Then I will.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second your motion. All those in favor say aye. Member Roberts, aye.
And Barnes, aye.
For Crane, aye. Thanks to the staff for all the work.
Did we cut Roberto off? Or did you have one more thing? No, you're good.
No,
Okay.
no, I
And
just didn't turn off the camera.
awesome. Well, we enjoy seeing you.
All right, see you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Meeting
Bye-bye.
adjourned at 6:28. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.